What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing today? Welcome to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Season 11 Reunion Part 2. In this episode, we're going to be talking about why Erica flipped her story over 5 times, skid down a ditch of logic, laid there unconscious in a sea of desperation, and was found by her own humiliation, and now is suffering from some form of memory loss. Y'all, listen, here's a funny thing. Right, we're gonna have Mel. Miriam might be joining us. She's back from vacation. You know, she's been doing the thing over in Lisbon and Spain for 14 days. She just forgot about the US, right? Mel NYC will be on too sometime coming in. Hey, what's up, Visual Taste, right? But before, hold on one second. That speak of the devil, hold on. Hold on one second, guys. But so, Erica made a damn fool of herself on this thing. But before we get to the review, I'm going to wait till a few more people get into the room. I'm going to say hi to all of you guys. I want to actually address something a little bit serious. We're going to have an ABC after school special. So everybody hold hands, right? Hold hands and let's get into this. Let me just send this link out. I thought I already sent this link out. Let's see what we can do. Hold on. Okay, so we're gonna have to talk about something a little bit serious, and something that I really need to address because I am sorry. I'm jet lagged too. I just finished getting authorization to leave. So whatever. I know. Listen, welcome to my Black channel. You know, I'm a little late and distracted. That was me. You ever get called out for being on your phone at work and they're just like, get off your phone, and you're like, "Ah, I'm taking notes," and you haven't taken one damn note. I also made myself some strawberry lemonade from this bottle I got from IKEA. Yes, I know this is okay, anyway, let's go on, right? Hey, what's up? Let's say hi to everybody. Creator said, hey, what's up? What's up? Hey, Miora, what's going on? Hey, Black Swan. Hey, Kenny. Hey, Carmen. Laporte. Oh, thank you. Hey, Astro Guy. Yes, let's hold hands. Hey, Meghar. Hey, Kenny again. Tomikia, what's up? Who else is in here? Hey, Miriam. Hey, Amika. Hey, Mior. Hey, Elaine. Hey, Mickey. I just want to wait for a few more people to get in here. And then let's go. But you know what? Let me start talking now because most of y'all are going to watch this on playback. So I want to say this, right? Listen, I know I've been a little bit kind of dodgy. And by dodgy, I mean a lot of people have been like, what? Follow me on this, right? This whole convoluted story is going to make sense. If you guys just want the recap and rant, I'm going to drop the timestamp. If you're watching this on playback, past TSO will drop the link for the future viewers. If anybody knows anything about the quantum physics, bubble theory, and time-space continuum, that was the funniest joke you ever heard, right? But I will say this, right? A lot of you guys have asked me, well, not a lot of you, only 10 people have been like, how come your subscribers are private? And a lot of people took that to say that let's say hi to, hey, what's up, girl? Everybody say hi to, who's this woman on the screen? Do you recognize her? She looks like left us for Spain 14 days ago.
Oh my God.
She sounds like someone, but she looks tanned and refreshed and glowing.
Yes.
Are you related to Miriam?
Miss you guys. Oh my gosh. I tried to keep up with your lives from abroad, but I wasn't sleeping. So
listen, I would have, if you had come on, I would have been like, what the hell are you doing? If you don't hang up, go find someone to love on and go have a good night. Hey, Gloria. Hey, Mior. We're about to actually have, hey, hold on a
Trying to light
second.
up the.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, this is better.
Hold on.
Breaking news.
It is breaking news. Let me drop this link for Mel to get in. It's like the reunion. You guys are watching. If you're watching some playback, I'll put timestamps so you can switch through this. But you need to hear this because we're about to have an after school special. Is my thing squeezing up? Hold on.
You froze a little bit.
Okay, great. Of course, it's like the face actually here. Let's wait till a few more people come in, right?
I'm trying to.
Oh, you switched to channel Clarion that Kenyon and Brandon are ATL filming the Real Housewives of Atlanta. That's interesting because when I said that they already started filming, everyone was like, "No, that's for Dancing with the Stars," and I'm like, "You guys, my sources for Real Housewives of Atlanta are impeccable. They're filming, okay? Okay.
They're so cute together. I hope they're dating.
Listen, let's not start any rumors. They're not. Kenya says they are just friends, big bro, little bro energy. And I see also with Dancing with the Stars.
I wouldn't be mad.
I wouldn't either. Let's let Mel come on. Hey, Mel, what's going on?
Hey, Mel.
Hey, ladies, how you doing? Hi, Miriam. How was your vacation?
Oh my God, it was amazing. It was, just waking up to have fun. And I met a lot of people, like, people from the United States, people from all over the world. It was fun. It is sad that to meet new people, you have to travel because here, nobody has time for anyone. So it was good. It was good. I'm glad to be back, though. And my blood is boiling. And my blood is boiling because of Beverly Hills.
Happy you back.
But you guys, hold on because this actually came up last minute, so I have to address this. So you guys just bear with me, okay? This has nothing to do with the show, but this has everything to do with my channel. A lot of people always ask me, how come I don't reveal my subscribers? It's not because I'm ashamed of it. It's just because of the fact that I am my own competition and the anxiety I feel sometimes when I feel like I'm not growing fast enough or the number's not there and this and that, it puts me in my own head. So I hide the numbers to take the stress off of myself, right? And just to let you guys know, we are north of the Tattle Tells fam, right? We are north of, let me cover some of my analytics, right? But we are north of, where are we at, right? 17,000 subscribers, right? So we're doing well. Yes, we're doing well. As you guys know, I got started April 14th. I got monetized May the 1st. I made my first AdSense check listen, it's been great. You guys have been good to me. You guys always have my back. You guys give me the best watch time. You guys are good to me. YouTube's good to me. Portia Simon's been good to me.
You're good. You're good. We're here because you're good.
This is actually really serious because I actually have to say this, right? There's been a lot of, since I started the panels, there's been a lot of negativity that's formed up, right? Some of it I understand. Some of them are Marian's face. Sometimes they're Mel's face. Sometimes they're my face. Everybody has fan thing. They start arguing. Fine. I can nip that in the bud. But there is something going on where I received an email, an Instagram message, and I want to give a shout out to you guys. Follow me on this because this is actually really important, right? Thank you. A young woman by the name of Beautifully Animated. She's in my thing sometimes. She literally reached out to me on Instagram and she said, I just want to understand what happened on Whitney because I didn't think you were about that BS, though I'm still new to you. Like, I want to talk. So I actually didn't know what she was talking about. I do videos about everything.
Whitney?
I'm like,
who's Whitney?
Hold on, Miriam. So I was like, that's what I said. I said, well, maybe, hold on, you guys, hold on, talk among yourselves.
Okay.
Well, tell me about the food.
Did you miss me? How much did you miss me?
No, hold on.
Yeah, I missed you very much. I miss all you. Yeah.
Okay, she's back.
They were like, okay, though I'm still new to you, let's talk. So I said, all right, girl. I was a little confused. I said, okay, I was like, did I do something about Whitney Houston? What's going on? I said, I'm a little confused about the Whitney thing. What video was that? And she's a video. Anyway, we talked through Instagram. And she let me know there's another young woman's channel. Her name is actually Whitney D. Hold on really quick. I'm on live. Her name is actually like Whitney D. And she has her Whitney D TV. She has her own her YouTube channel. She's very, very great. I recommend you guys all follow her, check her out. She just did a big expose on R. Kelly. She's really good. In Whitney's chat today, and it had just happened, and the only reason I found out is because Beautifully Animated follows both of us. Once again, the fake Tisa with the avatar surfaced, right? This
Oh no.
time, the fake Tisa was saying very harmful, very racist stuff. Whitney was having a thing on colorism. They said as a biracial woman, and then the fake started saying all this hateful stuff and colorism stuff. First of all, no shade to anyone. I'm not biracial. Both of my parents are black. If you ever see any Tisa saying biracial, it's like, what are you talking about? Second of all, I literally was on a transatlantic flight all night. I'm super jet lagged. That's why I'm up so damn late. I wasn't up to join anybody's live. I really was like, okay, what is going on? Third of all, because of this fake Tisa going around, I have not been on anybody's lives in about definitely 6 weeks. Even before that, I jump on one or two. Usually I maybe comment on people's videos, but I'm not on live. Three things I want to say to my Tattle Tells, right? If you see a Tisa in any chat making any comments that you find offensive, report it, because it's not me. I really don't have time to be in people's chats nowadays, but it's definitely not me. And I'm not an offensive person. Report it, but also if you could send me screenshots to Instagram so I can actually report this to YouTube. Why? Because of these racist things, because of these homophobic things, because of these trans things, this person, and I think it is, this person in either their fake accounts or their person and their friends and anybody that they're aligned with, I want to say, I know that you guys see the happy, sweet, upbeat version of me, and I am super happy, super sweet, super upbeat. However, I have the time, I have the inclination, I have the money, and I have the contacts. I think I know who you are, but if it's not you, I'm telling you right now, and I am coming at you. I've already literally filed things with YouTube. When they track you down, and they will find your IP address, even if you have 20 things, I am pressing charges for identity theft under the form of my home state in America. You have messed with my ad revenue. You have messed with my channel. You have literally gotten things against me, and it's no longer funny. It's already a crime, even if there were no damages. However, I do have damages. I have the money, I have the legal contacts, and I have the support. I hope you enjoyed what you were doing. I'm telling you to stop now. I'm not going to stop coming to you. And anyone that's helping you and anyone that's a part of it, I'm going to rip apart their life too. I'm not joking. This is not a threat. This is a promise. You have been warned, and it doesn't matter whether you stop now or not. I'm coming to you, and trust that I have the pockets, the time, and the inclination to see this to the end. YouTube is going to send and literally share with the DA of my home state, because I've already made my complaint. When they are done finding the IP addresses, they are sharing the IP addresses. We are going to do that. We're blasting you. I'm sick of the fact that somebody's impersonating me and bringing trouble to me. The fact that there is a racial component, the fact that they're bringing colorism into it, it sickens me. Transphobia, homophobia, it sickens me. And it does. And let me tell you something. The person I think it is a matter that you live overseas. When it is an American citizen, I am an American citizen, and somebody overseas, there are treaties under the Geneva Convention. You will be held accountable and tried in the state of in my home forum, the federal rules of civil procedure, because it is between somebody else in another country and a U.S. citizen. So
Wow.
be warned, and that's all I'm saying. I'm sorry to be so stern, but I'm done with you guys playing with me in these streets. I'm not a person. I am not Monique. I'm not going to meet you outside and bop you in the head, but I will drag and mollywop your whole life. I hope your job does not care if you're literally doing identity theft, harassing people, and making trans, homophobic, and racist remarks in my name. I hope you don't mind the fact that we're about to rip apart your bank account. And I hope you have money for lawyers, because I know, well, my lawyers are free, but I know that it'll be okay. All right, guys? So anyway,
Can't leave the country. This happens?
Listen, it's happened since I started the panels, but now that it's getting out of things, I talk to people. I talk to in my home forum, my home state. Yes, I do know people in the DA's office. It's no problem. It's not even like this takes so much energy. It is a process. But once you start the wheels in motion, all we need is the information from YouTube. YouTube is working as fast as they can to get that information, tracing the IP addresses, doing that, and they'll share it with the DA. I ask all of you, my Tattle Tells, if you are watching, please, 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 if you ever see that, yes, report, but also take a screenshot, no matter whose chat it is, send it to me in my Insta DMs, because it really does help YouTube. If they are working with people, and I think it is a couple of people, if they are working together, it makes it really easy to isolate the IP address so we can just go after people one or the other. Again, I love peace, but if we're going to go to war, let's go to fucking war, because I'm always ready for that. So there we go. Thank you so much. I'm sorry for that heaviness in the beginning, but it just really, the fact that I'm even dealing with it, the fact that people are saying stuff, it's just really bothersome. But that said, let's get into the fun.
You know, it's
scary, but go on.
Can I say something here? It's really, for me, it's mind-boggling how people go out of their way just to hurt. What are you doing to affect them? Your success obviously bothers them, you know. So it's like people need to understand, nobody's gonna take what is yours, but you also cannot take what is theirs. So just if they think about that, they stop doing this BS. I cannot believe for the life of me that had been going on. It's like it's
all come to head. I've ignored it, but now that you're literally going around and then people are seeing me in other people's chats and reporting me for saying this stuff, it's just like, I don't understand. Maybe because I'm not, I don't know, maybe because I always use a sledgehammer to kill a fly. It's like, all right, if that's what we're doing, let's get the fucking DA involved. And I know people can laugh and be like, oh, they're just stealing your Abby. I don't care. It's identity theft. The DA of my home state says it's identity theft, and it will be, and YouTube treats it as identity theft.
It is. They're using your picture. They're using your name. It is identity theft.
Yes. Right. So it's all going on. That's fine. Again, and also, the people that are doing this, please know, I usually don't get messy about that. But if you are a friend, if you are working with them, if you are helping, if you are feeding in the bullshit, then I'm coming after you fucking too. Everybody can get some of this work, and everybody will get some of this work. This is not any threats. This is a promise. This is the way I handle things. This is the way I mollywop people in the head. And again, we can just leave it at that. So whoever it is, I know you're probably watching. I hope you had a good Keke. Even if I hope you know this isn't over. And go ahead and keep having more Kekes, because when I start ripping shit apart in your life, we'll see. We'll see. And I'll talk about it on this page. I'll talk about it on this page too. So it'll be fun. So then all the views you think you took from me, I can get back. Okay. So let's do that. Now, you guys. I'm sorry, Melvin. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I'm listening. First off, I'm just so happy Miss Miriam is here. I missed her here with us. And you know what, Tisa, me, you talk, you know, we talk all the time. So I kind of smelt this, but I didn't know that they, you know, within a couple of hours, we just talked a couple of hours ago that something else that popped up. They are obsessed with you. This is outrageous. I think me and Tisa, we kind of know the peoples, the one, the who, the twos, or whatever. I think that it's absolutely abominable. It's abominable. It's disgusting. And I think that if you know what, I think this is what I'll say, and then we'll move on to the show. I think that when we come into this sector to talk about television programs as a community, we may have different opinions, but it does not mean that we're going to take those opinions and start identity theft and start talk behind people's back and backstab them. This is entertainment. We're here to communicate and talk about our different opinions. I love that Miriam's here tonight, because sometimes you have different opinions on Potomac, but we have love between us. We have respect between us. I think it's just crazy that people would go to this page, listen to what you say, and then take it to another level. I think they need help. I think that not only do they need to be talked to by the authorities, but they also need to see a psychiatrist.
They need to be held accountable, not help.
They need psychiatrists. And I also think that people need to also check their ego, and they know exactly that the person who I'm talking about knows exactly what I'm talking about. Ego is getting out of control, and they need to really check their ego. And they need.
Is it who I think it is?
well, it's not.
I don't
It's
know.
not. Let's just put. Yeah, we're not
It's
going
all
to name names.
online.
But I'm just going to say. All I'm going to say is it's not. It's not. They're not big time. They starting out, and the simple fact is their egos is too big, and they need to sit their ass down and chill out. And that's all I'll say about that.
You know what? I completely feel you on that, Mel, and I agree. Again, like I said, you can go to your channel and talk as much trash about me as you want, right? Just like I will stay on my channel
But
and
show
talk.
your
But when you
face.
get yes, but when you get into identity theft, when you get into this, when you get that, when you start messing around, again, I started
Your money.
April 14th. My first video, I posted the Cuba video like a year ago, but that's just because I was bored. That's like, oh look, right? And I always wanted to go to Cuba. But I started April 14th. My first video, I'm not gonna lie, had like maybe like 38 views, and I think 37 of them were my boyfriend. No, that's not true. 29 of them were my boyfriend, and the rest of my friends and family, right? That did a click in, right? And from that, it's like, yeah, we're north of 17,000. We're going to be to 20,000 soon. You guys have been super good to me, super believed in me. Even the times I came on sad or crying or angry or mad or like, you know how it is. Sometimes you wake up and it's like you just don't even want to even look at your phone anymore because it's a problem on top of another problem on top of another problem. And then I talk to you guys, and magically everything's okay, and it's good energy and it's good vibes. Like YouTube, aside from like, yes, it's been lucrative, yes, it's been fun, but also it's been like just really nice connecting with people outside of my normal circle. In a weird way, you can be a little bit more freer than even with your closest friends, because it's like,
Sure.
I don't know, it's just like it's a nice, beautiful space. But again, when you get into identity theft, when you get into this, when you get into that, that's when it's just like, okay. And like I said, I am a lover, not a fighter. That's not true. I am a fighter, but I have curbed those genes, and now I fight with legal stuff instead of like, the Monique ones and twos, right? Miriam, no shade to Monique, right? I'm just making a joke. But Miriam was like, you got one more time. But like honestly, but no shade to that, right? Yeah, I will say, I hope you guys are having your fun. I hope you're having a good Keke. I'm not joking when I say I'm going to rip your fucking life apart, and I'm going to enjoy it. And we're going to talk about this on the channel when it happens. So you guys keep an eye on it. The law moves slow. YouTube moves slow, but they've been alerted. They're watching. They'll gather information. And again, I don't care if you guys think, I don't know if you guys think you guys are Kaiser Sosa or whatever. It is so hard to hide IP addresses. And even if you are doing it from 30, 40, 50 different IPs, which you're not because you guys aren't Kaiser Sosas, everybody can get this work. I will take everybody down and then let you guys turn on each other and see who it is. Okay? So we'll do that. All right?
Done.
So,
Okay.
I'm speechless.
I
Okay.
know that's right. Okay.
Okay. So enough of that stuff. Let's get into the Real Housewives. And also follow. I'm gonna give it Whitney DTV. She was a young lady, unfortunately, that the fake Tisa literally harassed, and like the live ended early, right? Just so, and if you guys see me on there in anybody's comments, just know it's not me. I've actually literally made a promise to myself that I don't even go on people's channels anymore, because my creative process, I don't want it to get like muddled with anybody else's. So for the last 6 weeks, I stay off. You know what I'm saying? I stay off of YouTube. I go to Twitter. Yeah, I'm on Instagram. All True Tea. Love her blog. I stay in the loop. But as far as listening to other people's videos, I just try to stay out of it, because it can only, like, I'm just absorbing everybody's thoughts when I'm just better off when I have my own thoughts. So and also I want to thank beautifully animated so much for actually
Yeah,
alerting
she's
me to
cool.
it.
She's cool.
Yeah,
Like,
she's super cool. Okay, so there we go. Now, all right, let's get back to the sunshine and lollipops and rainbows everywhere. Okay, let's get back to the good times, right? Woo! Shake that energy off, right? Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Miriam, since you are back, you can take it away. The first thing, what we're going to do is give me your initial thoughts. Then we'll move to Mel, then me, and then me, Mel, you, and we'll do in that circle. But since you are back from 14 days, let's hear your
thank
first.
you.
Yes, I want
Thank
to
you.
hear.
Thank you for letting. My blood is boiling. I feel like everybody's saying Andy Cohen did a good job. No, that was all calculated. That was all calculated. He did ask that, but with her knowledge. And if everybody watched the same show, you know that all her answers were rehearsed. You know, when someone he rehearses like that, Tisa, how are you today? Isn't this how she talked all the time yesterday? And the reunion, I watched them back to back yesterday, and I'm like in the bus, I'm watching doing this and people looking at me. I wanted to smash the phone. It's obvious that Andy and her are in cahoots in order to draw a narrative that she is for her. She barely mentioned the victims, but then she said, I'm here feeding, like fighting for my life. So it all went back to her. It all went back to her. And like now, oh, I was giving all my money to Tom. Hello, he was, and who was paying for the jets and stuff? So don't portray yourself as if he's taking all your money and you are getting like food stamps, because you were not. Like, for me, this is like Andy posed like he was asking all the questions of the audience, and he was like all of a sudden talking about the victims who he overlooked every time someone mentioned the Housewife and the Hustler documentary. Like, for me, like, I am so disappointed in him. That man, like, before Potomac, that reunion, the infamous reunion, he was my best friend in my head. And now I'm like, it's all about clicks. It's all about like ratings, and he doesn't care, doesn't give a damn. Because if he cared, or if Bravo cared, they would garnish her paycheck, the paycheck that he knows she makes. Okay, and he said it verbatim. I know how much you make. So here she's portraying that, where am I gonna go? Where am I gonna go? If it was that bad, why didn't you go before? And all of a sudden you decide to go when you know that his ship is sinking. For me, I don't think she knew all the nitty-gritty of what he was doing, but as long as she was enjoying, she was looking away. And for me, silence is complicit. Period. I cannot. She's and they're bringing her back, It's obvious, and I don't know what they're thinking. I really don't, because I was hate watching, and I still am. It's crazy. I used to enjoy. Now you look, nobody has really a storyline. Maybe Sutton had one, and Garcelle. Sutton, like, she's doing her house. She had the boyfriend that now left her. So that's her next storyline. She's dating. Hopefully she will go on double dates with Garcelle. But all the rest, what did they really show? They showed nothing. Dorit showed her dresses, and what's her name? Kyle was all the time pinning Erica against Sutton, because last time when they were okay, she goes, "Oh, but she still thinks you're lying." Like, what the fuck? And then like Kathy Hilton, I I I I loved her at the beginning, but there comes a point, if you're not genuine, it's gonna show. Like, not even, she didn't have tears. I don't understand why they broke down about her mom like a little girl. Like, I know it's hard when we lose our parents, but come on, you are a hunky dory Hilton. Like, why? Like, that seemed like so disingenuous for me. And for Bravo to do to imitate her backyard instead of doing the Haitian theme that Garcelle had at home. Like, are you kidding me, Bravo? What is wrong with you? Or you think you don't need to invest or think just because the ratings are up? These ratings won't be sustainable. I'm not the only one hate watching. I'm just saying, when this phases away, it's gonna go like down. They should learn from New York. They didn't even have a reunion, because this is the thing. Audience is forgiving one time, two times, but then when it becomes like every time the same thing, people tune off. There's just like there are tons of YouTube channels, and you tune off those who are fake, those who only use you to get an interview and then forget that you exist. And
Mhm.
so is TV. So is TV. So I don't know why they're doing this. I really don't. And it's terrible. Just it's
It
terrible.
is Mel, what were your thoughts on the episode in general? And then we'll go into, I mean, the whole episode was what? Erica just saying a dumb lie after a dumb lie after a dumb lie. But what were your thoughts overall?
Well, I thought this episode was a snooze fest. It was not very entertaining. It was, as Marion was saying, it was very, contrived. I think, you know what I was thinking too? I was thinking whenever there was a housewife in real controversy, they would sometimes separate them and do an episode where they would sit in some kind of hotel room and they would do the thing. And I was thinking, because maybe I'm in the minority here, but I always felt like the girls talking about Erica, as shady as it is, talking about her behind her back felt more functional as a viewer than when she was there and they would sort of cower down. So whenever she wasn't there, because I feel like for me personally, Erica she halts, she sort of stops. And you know that kind of person that comes into a group if it's a party and then everybody just stop and the mood just sort of changes. That's what Erica, she drains the room. I would have preferred they would just put that woman somewhere in a room with Andy. They would have had those questions, Q&A, and the girls could have really went in on each other and said, listen, you know that Erica was wrong. Why did you grill me about stuff that didn't make no sense? You kept on, I would have liked if Erica wasn't at the reunion. I would have loved to see the girls really hash it out about how the viewers perceived them, how the viewers sort of saw that they were being fake, and how they treated Garcelle, really get into the race issue. But because Erica was there, I feel like Bravo could have just took Erica, put her somewhere, did a little interview, and then had the lawyers there and just do a Barbara Walters moment. That's it, and then let the girls really go like they supposed to. Because with Erica there, just didn't build up. And also, Mary made a point. I said this to Tisa earlier. I said, listen, if you're married to a person for 2 decades, and you're saying for most of that marriage, it was some problems. Before supposedly you heard about these things in about these 4 years, 5 years, whatever it was. 10 years in the marriage, 11 years in marriage, as they said with Adrian. I think it was one of the ladies got divorced on the show. They said, oh, when you get married for 10 years, you're going to get all this money. So you could have been married for 11 years. You don't want to divorce them then? And, you could have been the stereotypical young woman who's going after your husband's money. So why did you wait right before the controversy? And another thing is too, she's divorced him, started divorce in November 2020. We're not a year yet, and and again, it's no shade. She's already having relationships and entanglements and things like that. And I'm thinking that's because, it was a business deal. The relationship was a business deal. It was a 20-year business deal. And I believe this. I believe that maybe she's really committed where he said, listen, you're my woman and we are going to be together physically. This is what's the agreement. If you go out and do what you want to do, then I'm not going to give you an allowance or whatever it is. So I think that when she said, I didn't cheat on him, I think it's because it was a business deal. I think that she knew her role and she stuck to it for 20 years. But the moment he got exposed, she was like, I'm out of this. I'm a healthy woman. I'm a sexual woman. And I'm going to go out here and be with and date and have. And she said over one of these reunions, she said, I want a man with a big, big member. So she really is very sexually aggressive right now because she's been with, not really getting the passion for these past 20 years.
I think she's been having passion from the side, like a
You think so?
sniper.
So wait a minute.
Yeah,
So when he asked her, "Did you cheat during 20 years?" You think that? I thought she was telling the truth. No, you think she lied?
I come on, like just like you said, like he looked away and she looked away on each other. It was a business deal, and nothing that she says holds water. Not when she says that she was suffering with him because we saw the lavish life that she was having, and how he was supporting all her dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and nothing holds water when she says that she still loves him, and yet she left him at his most vulnerable state. And then for her to say that she took a picture of his ankle and sent it to the doctor because she was worried. All of a sudden, the pretty mess is a doctor. Like she knows better than doctors.
Yeah.
Like she protected the man. Like what if the man can't walk anymore? Like everything that she says, for me, it's not only when someone says crazy things. What's more outrageous for me is everyone around doing that. Like,
Yes.
they're
Yes.
co-signing what she said. All
That's
of them.
right.
Like when she said, "Oh my God, you're giving him all your money," as if she wasn't living a lavish life. She has
Yeah.
a freaking Cartier
But
ring.
okay, so I love this part too. So you were on that part. So what about the part when she was saying to Cal, you remember what your friend told you about all the time, Mr. Cal? Now I want you to repeat this story that we practiced off, when the cameras went around. I want you to repeat what your friend said, and they go, "That's true." Lisa rented Dorit. I'm thinking, Dorit, when you never said you had a person with Alzheimer's in your family. How do you know about these symptoms? They all agreeing, but the things that she was saying, that was really obnoxious. They all shaking their head. And then Crystal, I will say she looked really disturbed, like, okay, wait a minute, why y'all sitting here talking about Alzheimer's as a way to get her out of this hot water? And she legitimately had something to do with Alzheimer's, so she didn't confirm her fake diagnosis about what he was doing because she was too hurt. But the people, Lisa, Ren, and Dorit, and they were shaking their head agreeing, and yeah, it was just like she had a whole crew of people supporting her, even though she supposedly was mad with Cal. I didn't see it. I didn't see her upset with her. Cal was backing up.
It was to draw a narrative that she is like, she can't say everything, but she was this like poor wife that was controlled, like the bully, the ultimate bully. Okay, Erica. She keeps saying these people talk about me like I'm a criminal. No, I never even thought, like, I'm not gonna say she was talking about me, but she was, because she's talking about everybody that thinks like me. She keeps saying, like, I'm not criminally charged. Well, that's yet to be seen. But for me, it's not about if you were in it or not from the get-go. For me, the cover-up is worse, and that's
Hmm.
exactly what she's doing right now. And she's not showing any type of remorse towards the victims.
But did you love
None.
so when this part came up? I thought about you right away. So she said, well, there's a trustee, lawyer person, and they didn't want
Ronald
to.
Reagan
Yeah, I'm down to say that they tried everything, honey, not to mention that man's name. They did not
mentioned
mention
the
him.
name.
Yeah, but because Kyle was shaking her head, she said, "Oh yeah, we already know that pit bull on Twitter right now just dragging you." And that part I thought about, you because of the connection, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, they didn't mention his name. They did not mention Ronald Richards on that reunion.
Just to show you that it's all a plot. They orchestrated this exactly the way to go. The only curveball was Garcelle mentioning the race comment. That
Hmm.
Lisa, that was the only curveball. And Lisa, she's so scared about her job that all of a sudden, from like attacking Garcelle, she goes and sits next to her because she knows if she doesn't make it right in the reunion, everybody, she's gonna go down. She's in the chopping block. That is all orchestrated. That was the only moment, but just to show how Lisa is quick with it. She knows when she's in danger, and she knows when to change narrative about herself. But everything else, like Kyle pretending that Eric is not talking to her, like, I don't believe that for a second, that they're not talking. I think they're faking that just to make believe that Erica is upset with Kyle. But they're all in cahoots with each other. Kyle, she always thrives when there is a problem or a scandal or anything about someone else, not herself. Which, if we dig into her life, is this the real Tissa in the chat?
Oh yeah, sorry. I just said
Okay,
okay, Mrs. G Mason.
I'm just double
I'm
checking
watching the chat
of
too.
you.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank you,
Yeah.
Miriam. I'm watching the
yeah,
chat too. Miriam, hold on, everyone.
yeah.
Mhm.
I had to pay attention. So I feel like they're all in cahoots, and they're all wanna give Erica the grace of talking and of trying to show that she's innocent and that she's compassionate, not showing compassion because they know the ratings are because of this story. So they're all codependent, all of them.
So if I could just interject with you guys both make good points. But the thing I thought was laughable about Erica is because I saw what she was doing. Erica doesn't give a damn if we believe her. I mean, she does, but she doesn't. The way Erica talks to the women, I do not find it hard to believe that she is imitating the way Tom conducted himself and the way Tom talked, right? Do I think Tom treated her like she was a respected value? No, I think he treated her the way most men with money, when there's a power imbalance, not most, but some men with money, when there's a trip house, will treat their 27-year-old girlfriend they found waiting tables, right? Here's the thing, Erica, that cracked me up. Erica's thing about, I look at it as Tom and Erica are trying to avoid criminal, right? If Tom can prove he has dementia, he didn't know what he was doing, and he is not criminally liable, then there's no way Erica can be criminally liable. Tom would have to be found criminal first for Erica to even be considered criminally liable. So they make up this thing about Tom has Alzheimer's. But then from a legal standpoint, I'm like, the first thing that doesn't make sense about that is, how did this man have Alzheimer's but he had 3 mistresses? Oh, but that's just what my mom did. My mom forgets stories. You juggled 3 women and was buying a $750 bra and panty sets from La Perla and hiding them in your office drawer, and you had Alzheimer's? Okay, fine,
Yeah.
Erica. He can juggle women. I guess that's a low when it comes to men, right? He has Alzheimer's. But even if you get across from that, right? The way word choices mean a lot to me sometimes. Sometimes it's just, people are speaking out of term. But the way she said, you guys have seen the pictures. This man has lost it. He speaks on the loop, like she just got done watching Westworld. But the biggest lie, where I was like, Erica, I see what you're doing. You're creating your alibi for the jury. I give all my money to Tom, right? Now, the thing is, you didn't say it goes straight to him. It didn't say this. You say, I put my paycheck in his hand, which was like, Erica, that's impossible. You haven't had a paycheck to put, like, stop. That's just not the way things work. The verbiage was really weird. And I was like, you're either speaking about something that happened a long time ago. When she was a single mom, 27, right? Because I think her first husband was abusive, money and this and that. Or this is just some lie. But by establishing what Tom is doing as he took her money, Eric trying to set up a legal that everything Tom gave her was a gift. She gave all her wages to Tom. Probably she's going to say it was a loan. She's literally trying to establish herself as a creditor for Tom, saying, wait, Tom owes me money. Because if I
so she will get a piece of the pie.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what she was trying to do. And she doesn't care how to everybody else it's like, Erica, what are you talking about? That makes sense. But it's like Erica is playing a legal battle. She's trying to make statements. Her and her lawyers, her NPR teamers like, listen, this is the narrative we need to get out. We need to tamper that jury if it ever turns criminal. Even if it's not criminal, we need one type of evidence. Start putting this narrative out. That's why she keeps saying things that are nonsensical. But from a legal standpoint, they're really, really good talking points. Now, will they work? I don't know, because the one thing you forgot, Erica, because it was so tempting to be able to go on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and give your narrative out there, that you forgot that there's literally like 800 hours of footage that they now have that they're going to sort through painstakingly to be like, okay, well, that's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. But she couldn't resist, and it was a Hail Mary. Again, she's there for 6 years. Let's just say Erica makes $600,000 a season or $500,000 a season. 6 years, that's at least $3 million. Again, she got that lavish lifestyle. And even for her to say the firm handed everything, she's literally going to try to say, and why not? Even with all this going on, I still am owed $3 million. And since I am part, my money comes out first before the victims and before the creditors. At the very least, she's like, that'll at least take care of my legal expenses. And I'm sure she has other things. Maybe her earnings from it's expensive to me, maybe this, maybe that. It's a dumb legal strategy, but that's what Erica's doing. And that's why her shit doesn't make sense, because she's not talking to us. She's talking to the judge or the potential jury.
Did everybody forget when she said she doesn't know what an ATM is? Like, if she was a waitress,
she worked at a bank.
She got her pay. Like, she would go to the ATM.
No, she used to work at a bank, Miriam.
Oh,
she worked at a bank.
Really? Yes. Oh my God! I didn't know that. Oh God!
She worked at a bank. She was a teller at a bank, and she said she didn't know what an ATM
You're messing with me right now.
Google it. She worked at a bank at one time, and she's trying to say,
Oh my God, she's such a liar. Like, I cannot
keep a story straight.
I cannot.
Because
she worked in a bank, and that was the first lie that came out of her mouth about the ATM, that she doesn't know how to go to a bank.
But here's the thing. to your point, Mel, and to your point, Miriam, Erica can't keep her lies straight. Do you know why? Because you don't forget when they showed that flashback where they were like, Tom's being sued. Well, how come you're not talking about Tom being sued for 13 million? And she's like, and it was settled, and they apologized. And Erica was like, now what? Now what? Erica really thought.
Now what, Erica?
Well, but here's the thing. Erica really thought that this was another one of those embarrassing little blips that kept making it up into the media because they've been being sued for the last, 10 years? She thought it was one of the most, something came out. Tom was going to handle it, and she was going to go back to her life of luxury. We're looking at it now because of New York Times article, because as much as you talk, and not you guys, but as much as people talk trash about Richardson, he blew the lid off. And YouTube blew the lid off. Housewives, Twitter blew the lid off, and it isn't going away. But this is another reason why Erica's lies aren't matching up, because Erica thought once Tom went into that assisted living facility back in December that it was over. She got to keep whatever. He got to keep whatever. She has a new boyfriend. Tom, I do believe that Tom is mad about that new boyfriend. That's why when Tom was sitting there doing the dementia shuffle, and I don't care what y'all, listen, I'll eat crow if I'm wrong. I think that I want to see him evaluated by an independent doctor, because I don't believe doctor. If you have enough money to fraud 400 million, right? If you have enough money to do that, you have enough money to buy off a doctor. Seriously, I know people in college that parents weren't even worth 10 million that were buying up doctors to say they had learning disabilities and they needed extra time testing and all this other stuff. So doctors can be bought off. They can be in your payroll. But to my point about this, and I want to ask you guys a couple other questions. To my point about this, Erica thought that they got away with the crime of the century. And right now she is speaking to the legal team. She's speaking to the court. She's speaking to the juries. And in her mind, it doesn't have to make sense. Because again, usually that's what happens. People do shit and they get called on the stand. And it's like, Miriam, Mel, and everybody tells their story. And then the jury has to decide what's true. Again, how stupid was it that they can literally show footage and be like, no, rewind. Show Mel and Miriam when they were saying A, B, and C. That's why it was such a gamble, but it was a dumb gamble for her to go on, because now everybody can see. It's like pathological liars. If you're a pathological liar, please don't go on reality TV, because all they do is just roll footage and they're like, yeah, that was a lie. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So listen.
It's like it was a bad gamble on her part. I totally agree with you. I don't believe for a second he has dementia. And and did you notice when she mentioned his picture with the bruised eye? Like she is doing Tom's defense. Yes. And for me, I am telling you right now, she might have a boyfriend now, but they have money hidden. These two are still in bed together in the same bank account overseas. Period. You know
what? But that's probably why Tom's brother took over as a thing, because that's the only time I ever saw Erica show real emotion. When I think she was talking to Kyle and she's talking about how Tom's brother took over as the estate, and she genuinely showed real emotion. And that's because
I lost the money.
Yeah, and Erica didn't see that coming. Yeah, she didn't see that coming. And she was really shocked, like, what? But I'm the one that took care of that man. The funniest, what did you think about both of you guys, right? What did you think about Erica and what she said about she did everything humanly possible to help Tom? And she literally told one story about picking him up from the emergency room. What did you guys think of that? Because I was like, Mel, what did you think of that?
Well, you know what? I thought that was crazy. I thought that she was just sort of trying to make herself look good in that moment. I think that it was just rehearsed. It wasn't really something that was substantial. It had no real meaning to it, I don't think.
I agree. It was laughable. Like, it was laughable. It was, but then again, I'm like, is this like how shallow everybody is? When they were like, oh, I picked him up. I'm the one that picked him up. I'm the one that told this. I'm the one that told that. It was just really, really laughable to me that Andy, and this is the whole point, that Andy let her get rid of that. I mean, granted, I thought some of the questions he asked was really good, right? But good in the fact that these are the questions that we have been asked. You asked the minimum.
He knows how to read.
it was not a read, but if this is the
No, he
high
reads
point,
our questions and
no,
he
I get
listens.
that. But if this is the high point, if this is the pinnacle of him asking questions, Andy, this was just the start. Literally started in. You told her the bullshit. It was funny the way he did get her to admit, which looked really bad for her, that she didn't know about. I don't believe that Erica knew the level of thievery Tom did. I think she knew from things coming up because she was subpoenaed that there was something going on. I think she cared to dig any further. It's like somebody being like, "Oh, your man gets it," and you don't care to look any further. You're like, whatever, right?
She wasn't
However,
curious.
but she wasn't curious. But the one thing that is going to put her on liability and the fraud thing is, did you know when you asked for the divorce where things were going down? And what she said, and the money, and the way she kept saying the liability, when you filed for divorce, you knew the shit was sinking. You knew the shit was sinking. And that means that the divorce is a sham. And that even means that the divorce no longer counts as a cutoff point between where they can go after your assets. Now, as far as Erica having a sugar daddy, where Erica said, I can't that legally where I get my money from. I agree. I think Tom has money hidden overseas because here's the thing. We're talking about what, 150 million total, 180 million, including the 25 million or 34 million, depending who's accounting it due, that he gave Erica. However, Girardi Keese is deep in debt and borrowed hundreds of $1 million from all these legal lending firms. That's not even counting the money they took in from legitimate money from people paying them. So when you look at all the money that's owed, all the money, and the fact that Girardi Keese was paying no one, not even his own lawyers, Tom literally has about $600 or $700 million unaccounted for, right? So, unaccounted for. When you think about it, because it's like, okay, but where'd the rest of the money go? Where's the money you used to spend on your life? Where's the money you stole from the editors? Where's the money you stole from the films? Where's the attorney fees you legally had a right to actually get paid? You're saying, just like Tom went in and was like, that's weird. There was 80 million in an account on Monday, and now there's no money there. Oh, I don't know where I am. It's like this defense.
That's exactly what they.
No, literally, it's like, and then you're like, how do you not know what happened to 80 million? Tom's like, I have Alzheimer's. And it's just like, Tom. Lisa Rinna, everybody backing her up. I thought it was interesting that Crystal at that moment looked really disgusted with Erica, but I think that's because Crystal's dad actually suffered from Alzheimer's dementia, and she knew Erica, shut up. Like, shut up. That you don't when the type of Alzheimer's dementia, whichever one they're saying Tom has, is late stage. Erica's trying to say that in a matter of 4 months, he doesn't even know his own name and is giving himself a black eye. It's like Erica, you expect, what did he do? Forget the way he looked and punched his own self in the face when he was looking in the mirror? It's just really laughable to me. Again, let's see if this defense works in court, but creditors are now starting to go past Erica. I think Erica knows where the money's hidden. I think Tom knows where the money's hidden. And I think Erica 100% has a sugar daddy. I think it is one of the Vegas guys. I also think it might be somebody over in Dubai, but who knows? Who knows? They could just be meeting in Dubai. But I don't know. So listen, what do you guys think of Rinna and her reaction to everything? Because have you guys, let's bring in a little outside world. Have you guys read excerpts from Andy Cohen's, is that Andy Cohen's book, Roses and
It's a book that's published by Andy Cohen's company by Dave Quinn. I've only saw a couple of little snippets of it, and I plan on reading. I think this weekend probably. I'm going to try to get into it and see if I can get.
I didn't, but probably I know what is in there because I watched Bravo.
Oh no, it's actually really, really good. It's actually pretty candid. Even Monique, even the Candace situation. The only housewives that refused to talk were Nene, which is understandable because Nene's and Portia. Those are the only ones. Everybody else really goes into detail about what happened between her and Portia. Carlos King talks about the way Phaedra was fired, not just for that thing with Candy, but also he lied about Carlos King telling her. Carlos King never told her. And Bravo said, Andy was like, no, I know you didn't tell. There's all this stuff that comes out from behind the
So for
scenes.
me, my favorite, you see, I told Tisa this too. It's I guess I don't realize how much I love New York City. That's why it's so heartbreaking that it's such a mess. But I used to love Carol, and so she still has some anger with Bethany, and she would say, you know what? Of course, Bethany was responsible for exposing that Tom was cheating. Bethany set up Tom, and this was in the book. But I said, okay, I got to read this because I love Carol. So I love Bethany too. So that I hate it when they friendship didn't work, whatever. But I definitely want to read that part. Oh, and then I think it was in the book where they said, I think it was in the book where they said that Leah and Ramona and Luann was supposed to be at a party with Ebony, and when they found out that, no, I think it was in the press today, that when they all supposed to be at a party to celebrate the book, they talked to the organizer and said, listen, I don't want to be at the party at the same time with Ebony, so we're going to come there. So they were they all three of them were, yes. This is on the page.
Repeat that.
Okay, so today,
Leah, who pretended to be Ebony's friend,
Leah, Ramona, Leah, Ramona, and Luann stuck together and said they don't want to be in the same party with Ebony. Allegedly. This was done last night or today.
What?
Oh, that makes sense. Really quick, you guys, not to interrupt. I want to say thank you to Dr. Payne, also to Phoebe or Phoebe, as it will, for the super chat. Thank you so much for you guys for supporting many hugs and love to you guys. Thank you so much for the super chats. I appreciate it. You guys really make it worth it. So I'm sorry. Go on. I just wanted to do that before I forget. I'm sorry, Mel.
This is like the mob. They're like a mob. Like all this, it's crazy. They pretend to be something. Just to go back to Lisa Rinna, because you asked, like I totally believe she said that. She didn't say it being racially prejudiced. I'm not gonna go that far, but she did because she didn't wanna the fate of New York, of Beverly Hills, be like New York because of that issue, which is in itself racially insensitive, the way she said it. Because for her, the most important thing is, no, we don't want to bring this to our show. We don't want to bring this to our show. And I feel like she was caught off guard. And Garcelle had text messages. She has text messages. She's lucky that Garcelle didn't show the text messages. But this is why she flipped. If she wasn't guilty, she would have doubled down and kept going, guns blazing.
So that's a good point. So Miriam, and I would say, Tisha, so I think that a pattern that we see this season is that if we don't talk about serious things about the victims and all that stuff with Tom, she will avoid, she will get angry, she will put people, sending them into the hot seat, just so they can learn their lesson and say, listen, every time you bring up this thing with Erica, I'm going to be on top of you, I'm going to be attacking you, I'm going to bully you, so that way you can stop asking these questions. So that's serious. Now, as you just said, possibly it's not about race, but I still, the jury's still out with that, because I know what she did with Star Jones, so some other things with there. But she also don't want to talk about Garcelle's uncomfortability on the show, race, or whatever the question is. And so whenever it gets serious, she doesn't want to talk about, but she'd rather talk about Harry sauce. And I mean, come on, girl. Listen,
you didn't thank Harry for the sauce?
Come on.
What I thought was interesting in that book, Lisa Rinna actually said about, it wasn't the fact that Denise, had a girl on girl experience. It was the fact that she was newly married and she was lying about what she was doing. Didn't she have any respect for her marriage? And that's what she's taken aback from. And I said, I found that very, very, very interesting, especially considering all the things that we learned about Harry. Now, I can't talk about them here because I don't want to get my channel in any more trouble until we resolve the thing in the fake teasers. But we do have the only chat. It happens every other Friday. We get exclusive tea. This is tea from flight attendants on United, on Emirates Airlines, production assistants, actors, actresses, models, all the things that will know that. And I find it interesting that she literally did so much to cover up what's going on in her marriage, but yet that's the reason. And I said, you know what? It's like Trojan horses. People really do set themselves up to fall sometime. Also, if you guys do want to join my channel, it is only $4.99. We do exclusive behind the scenes tea. It is amazing. $4.99 a month. You guys have access to all my old tarot stuff. You also have access to the exclusive tea where we get juicy and we talk about things that we can't talk about on the channel due to ad revenue, but we get really, really juicy. You can listen to it on playback. The next one is this Friday coming up, not tomorrow, but next Friday. And we're actually going to have in the members only posting a little agenda of the things we're going to be talking about. And you guys, if you actually want to know what's going on with your favorite singer, actor, rapper, celebrity, whatever, granted, we're not going to make up tea, but we'll ask like, hey, do you anybody know? And see if we can get a little bit extra tea and the real deal about what's actually going. So it's $4.99 enough. Hit the join button. You'll love it. And and it's a really small, intimate group. So you can come on, you can call in, you can chat, and we really have time to get to know each other. We went in also on Megan Edwards. Anyway, you guys go listen to the old members only chat, $4.99. And also the best thing is you can cancel anytime. So we're actually better than a Netflix memberships because it's super easy to cancel if you want. You don't have to go through a lot. But to your point, I thought it was really funny with Lisa Rinna that she looked at it as a marriage thing. And I was like, but your husband is accused of doing so many horrible things. How can you really actually even be on that? Now, that's it, you guys. Let's talk about.
But that's why I was I was just going to say one thing. That's why I need on this show somebody like the two of you, like Atisa or Marion, to be on this show to be standing up to Lisa Rinna, because the simple fact is we don't have a Heather, we don't have a Megan like the OC that will stick to somebody in their face. I love Garcelle and I really enjoy Sutton, but I don't think even next year they'll be strong enough to really ask the hard questions that we as fans need to ask. I think that
they are bullied.
Yeah.
Most of them are bullied, like in the show. Everybody else bullies them. And when Crystal mentioned that, in the confessional, when you mentioned that you didn't know, but that's the truth. Nobody knew who Crystal was before this show. We knew her husband. I didn't know his name, but I knew that Lion King because I watched it 10,000 times with my kids. That he existed. There is a producer for that movie. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so fake. And everybody was bullying. Let's say Sutton, they love her because she gives them lavish gifts and she's a great renter, a tenant, right? And this is why it's like they punch her with the right hand and then they caress her with the left. That's what they do with both of them. And for them just to hug Garcelle when she broke down, and for Kathy to say, I know what you mean to be the only one different in the room. Are you kidding me? Like, for me, this is when she lost me. This is when Hunky Dory went out the door for me. Like, she's too much. She's oblivious.
It was very much. It was oblivious and it was odd the way I realized. Miriam, to that point, Housewives is the ultimate study of when someone, it doesn't matter what you do, they're always going to like you. And when they don't, you could do everything perfect and they're not going to like you. The fact that people let Kathy get away with that, because it wasn't just what she said. It was like you said, the timing. It was the timing that was just like, really, Kathy? And I remember Garcelle handled that so well. She looked at her and she said, she literally rolled her eyes and said, well, yeah, she was like, try dealing with that for your whole life. Like, she was so done with Kathy. But Kathy got away with it, Hold on, let's let Kaya. What's up, girl? Hi, Kaya.
Hi, listen, Mary. I'm so happy to see you back. You're glowing. Hi, everyone else.
Good.
So, Kaya, what's your thing on the reunion? Let us know for this reunion. What were your thoughts on this?
It's just, I think, again, Andy lied to us. I think there are hard softball questions. I think Miriam said it's just like very easy for her to prep for. And as you said, it's like, which again, it's confusing to me because from a legal standpoint, yes, she's sort of leaving her arguments. But then if she's ever like a witness, the way the story is strung still wouldn't make sense. And so so she loses her credibility as someone who's a reliable creditor, and for me in that personal sense. So it's wonky. If she wasn't on TV, it would be better. But since she's on TV and then we have 6 years, it's just like there's a track record of none of this being true or not seemingly to be true.
So that's true, Kaya. You made a comment in the comment section that the whole thing of Alzheimer's, dementia made you want to rip your degree apart. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, okay, like I like spent all my time. I was going to be a pediatric neurosurgeon, and I just still ended up studying neuroscience. And it's just
Oh,
the
you're a
way.
brain surgeon for real. Go on.
Woohoo!
I backed out. I might go to law school now. I backed out, but
Girl,
it's just
don't do
like.
it. Don't do it. Stay in medical school. Don't do it. Don't.
And I even have my own
You
TBIs
would be an
recently.
amazing lawyer. But that's would be an amazing lawyer. You would. So whatever you do, we're behind you. We're behind you.
And I
But
want to
yeah,
say,
and also,
sorry about this. I was going to say I had technical difficulty. Hello, Miss Kyra. How you doing?
hi Mel, how are
I had a
you?
little. I heard. I was like, oh my gosh, she came up and I get a chance to say hi. A technical difficulty, but please go. Yeah, I think you would be a. Listen, the way you read the ladies, you go. Good lawyer. Good lawyer. Yep.
I have to start talking slow. I think I talk really fast because I
Oh
told
no,
you
you
my mom's
perfect.
Jamaican. I need to start talking slower. But yeah, I even have my own recent TBIs from a medical condition I just found out about. And so it is deplorable to me, especially now that she has a classmate who went through this. I don't even know how Crystal even could stand next to Erica this whole season. This whole season, and for her to basically imply that this situation is wrong with her husband, yet you're still spending and treating your life as nothing has changed to cover up the fact that your husband did something deplorable to people in need. It's just like a double smack in the face.
True, but what was the reason? I don't. I think I know we changed the subject, but what was the reason you felt like tearing up your degree
Oh,
for the cognitive decline and the way Erica
yeah.
actually phrased that?
Well, especially in the sense of like when she talked about the whole process of him being in the hospital. Again, I also just recently had my own TBI. He would have to be in the hospital for several weeks if he had a TBI. He would not be. I remember, I think it's like Emily D. Baker was talking about he was actually walking around with like an arm sling and something with his leg. If he had a TBI, there would be no way that we would see him walking around like that as an 80 or almost 80-year-old man with a TBI, a broken collarbone, and something in his ankle. He would be in a hospital.
True. Good
Because
point.
they probably wouldn't have operated, and they'll probably be watching what the blink would be doing.
That's a very, very good point. Now, here's the thing, right? And I want all of you guys to weigh in. Why do you think Andy did not? And we know the obvious reason, right? He was throwing softball questions, protecting his friend. But do you see anything in Eric's story that actually explains why she left Tom? Now, she can't say that it's the money because now she's going to be a bad guy gold digger. So she can't be like the girl because that was might be like, girl, why you think he treated me bad? The money was gone, and now I'm out.
Yeah,
So
own it. Just own it.
I would have just said it, right? And that's what he deserves. He was, and literally, she could be like, because he was a horrible man. But that's what makes me think Tom has money hidden somewhere because Erica will not bite the hand that feeds her, right? But two, also, you can't say that it was because of the cognitive decline either, because that also makes you the bad guy. Because, like Andy said, or the girl from Pittsburgh said, if you didn't know and you saw him get sick, why did you run away so much? But do you guys see in anything she said all season that actually it's not what we know, but like that actually even gives us a glimpse into the bullshit story that she's actually saying?
No.
She's met
No, I don't.
Nothing.
I would just say this real quickly because I can't wait to hear everybody. No, I don't. I think that I've been confused, and so one thing I will give to Andy is he was able to put the questions in a place that would really give me a chance to think about it. Yeah. So either he got too sick for her to take care of him, and she ran for the hills, or either, as you all were saying, that it was very strategic, which I believe, and she didn't leave at the last minute because they had disagreement. I think she left at the last minute because of strategy, and maybe there is money somewhere that was hidden, and they just didn't believe that we have Ronald Richards and other things going on that were really just scrutinized, which is stupid because you have people out here who have died or have burn victims who really will be, pounding the doors to get their money. It's not their money. It's not Erica and Tom money. It's their money. So, yeah. So I think that nothing. So basically, no, there was nothing that she said or nothing. I mean, he's too old to. I don't know. She could have said physical abuse. She could have said so many things, but she was very vague. And the fact that she's in a relationship, or maybe you need, I believe that she started now, but like Marion said, could be for over 10 years with other men. But she admitted to on the reunion that she's already in different relationships now. So yeah, it just seems very odd and crazy.
She was getting it from somewhere. She was petting the people.
Yeah, I don't believe her.
Come on.
It's like, again, nobody believes her, but she's not believing. You know what? So hold on. Unapologetically, Romel is calling in. Let's have them on just for a few minutes. Unapologetically, Romel. Hi, how are you? Unapologetically?
Maybe it's muted.
Maybe. No, we'll take them off. Okay.
Well,
maybe they forgot they called.
Can I hear, back to your question, if anything, for me, it's like, usually when someone says something, there's always another housewife to debate with her or to argue with her. Like, no one from the housewives said, Erica, you're saying that you love this man, but yet when he was decaying, you left. And in coincidence, it's when everything blew up. And you can say you were not aware because you were getting lawsuits with your name years ago. So nobody held her to the fire the way they held Denise for a threesome with Brandy. Like, that is, this is why I don't think, like, my gut feeling always tells me the truth. Like, my intuition is they all sat down and they had this planned. And Andy said, so that the viewers don't say that I didn't ask the hard questions, I'm going to ask you, and this is how you're going to answer. It was all rehearsed because you can spin things, you can twist things. And what she's doing is a page from Donald Trump's book. She lies, then she lies about the lie, then she lies about the lie, then she lies, she keeps lying, that everybody keeps saying, oh my God, didn't you say that? You're changing your story. Nobody's talking about the victims. So this is what they're doing. Like, the real crime is, and for her to say alleged victims, that is not alleged. It's in the books that they did not get their money. Period. Yeah. So they are victims financially by your dearest husband. And the crime or the accidents, yeah, they're victims of the accident that happened, but they were victimized again by Tom by taking their money. And you both were living lavishly, giving donations to politicians, being powerful, nobody checking and balancing what Gerard Keys does. So for me, it's like it was all a plot. This, for them to make this 4-part reunion, there was nothing. It was a snooze fest. It was more Erica lying and changing her story. Now she added she took a picture. Why didn't she tell them before? And then for Kyle, for her to say, oh, by the way, my friend, she said that there is something in Tom that reminded me of my dad with dementia. Like, now all of a sudden they're doctors. Dementia is very hard to be proven. I have a friend who lost her mom. Like, she kept testing her mom for dementia, and the test kept saying, no, she doesn't have it. But really? She was clearly showing signs and behavior of someone losing it. So for me, like, now, they're all in cahoots in this, all of them. And Garcelle and Sutton, they spoke a lot about during the season, but they were advised to keep quiet in the reunion because this is the law of the land. You want to have a job, you don't push back on Erica. Nobody pushed back on her. No one. Yeah. Which housewife pushed back on her? Like, usually, this is what reunions are for, to push back against each other. Someone says this, no, it's that, or bring receipts or whatever. Nobody of the women pushed back on Erica. They yelled at Garcelle, like, Dorit, how disgusting was that? Oh my God, like, I cannot even describe what I felt when I heard, like, she was yelling at Garcelle, and clearly she is privileged. She lives in a bubble. She's not aware how racially insensitive she is for her to say in the show that, oh, we had a lot of people work for us from all backgrounds. Like, oh, yeah. So then when Garcelle tells you, oh, so only people who work for you were of color, then she gets offended. It's like they make the offense and then they flip it on the victim. Like, you are being racially insensitive. And when Garcelle points out, you're flipping it on her. So it was all a big plot. And I don't know what else it's going to happen in two more. It's going to be more of the same. I'm just in awe of how hypocritical and disgusting all the women are, as much as Erica is. For me, I always said this from the get-go, they are powerful, influential women in Beverly Hills. Just like they can do fundraisers for the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, they could have done something of this sort with Erica, with her belongings, and donating some of their own pieces into an auction to try to give money back to the victims. But none of them did that. None. And that's very telling. For me, there is only two, in my eyes, have character in that show, Garcelle and Sutton. These are the only two that I feel like they are good people. You know, they are like, they have remorse, they have morals. But all the others, no morals there, nothing, zero. They're all morally corrupt, like Faye Resnick said. Doesn't matter how many Chanel bags they wear, they will always be classless, period.
I mean, Bravo is really turning out to be the network of con artists, scammers, whatever. But again, like I've maintained, and then I'll let you get to your point, Mel. Like I maintained, when you actually have something really to lose, not using Housewives as a come up, but when you really have something to lose, Housewives is not the one that people think that it is, especially when what you have to lose is your money, your business dealings, or your social standing, which, as you see with Beverly Hills, you know, everybody's like, oh my God, it's enough to have money. But once you have money, you can't hang around with people that work with McDonald's anymore because you're always on vacation and they're just like, yeah, I got to go on my third shift, right? And when it comes to social standing and money circles, your good name actually is a currency. Again, it's the world we live in. You're always meant to be in a constant state of want. You're always behind the ball. But that social standing is a currency that they all desperately want. So go on, Mel. Sorry to...
Well, I was going to say, first I was going to be very brief because I want to hear everybody else. I was going to say what she said about what Faye Resnick said about the Chanel bag. That I'm going to tell you, I watched Housewives and then Yolanda, Miss Tisha, Yolanda said, well, you know what, that's hitting below the belt, honey. I mean, I think I died laughing. I laughed so hard when Faye said that to Brandy, and then Yolanda, she caught the shade. She said, "Oh, that was hitting below the belt." I think I died laughing. It was hysterical moment because you know, basically she did a class. She said, "Well, no matter what you do, you will never be a lady, and you know what? You are just as fake as this." And Yolanda said, "Wait a minute, that's below the belt." I died laughing. It was hysterical. But I was going to say what you said is true. So, what would entice anybody to go to a network where they will be biased? They will play favorites. They will ask you embarrassing questions. And this was supposed to be the platform that it used to build up billionaires, 100 millionaires. That's what did Bethany, some other people, and Candy. You know, it used to do that. But I feel like now, if you're smart, as you know, as you all you ladies right here on the screen, if you're smart enough, you can actually go to YouTube or TikTok, whatever, be creative, and then put out a hair care business, whatever. You don't really need Bravo to, you know, I see you don't really need Bravo to be the platform to sell your real estate or to sell your businesses. I think that a lot of people, it's maybe that's the reason why they have a hard time casting. And I think even I love Amanda. I love Heather Locklear. She was on a lot of shows this week. And then she had answered the question finally that I was waiting. I've been a fan of her for years. She said, listen, I'm putting out my movies on Lifetime right now. I don't want to go up there with Lisa when I've known her for a long time. I don't go up there because a lot of actresses who really do act, they're like, you know what, I'm already doing it without the show. And when I get up the show, I'm going to get what you said, $200,000, but it's going to be a pain. It's going to actually, I think they said it actually takes up a lot of time with the filming of it. Yeah. So it's going to be like a burden. So I think that, if you're really well off and you're really good and successful, you don't need to show. You can get creative. You can do whatever you want, and you can make just as much money or more, as we've seen with some of these younger people. with social media and with TikTok. So yeah, you don't really need it. That's about it. I just because I think Mary said everything. I want to hear from Tisa and Miss
But
Kyle.
I think they make more than they make 6 figures in Beverly Hills. It has
Okay.
been the
But
highest
it's
paid for a long time.
I was going to say, I'm going to ask the Atlanta queen. This is so perfect. I got a tease right here. But is Atlanta still the highest paid of all the franchises for the cast members? Like Kenya, is she like the highest one in Bravo? Is it so? Beverly Hills is higher than Atlanta? Okay.
Yeah.
Beverly Hills is higher than Atlanta now that they got rid of Nene.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nene, and I think. Then again, that's a good point, Mel.
But
because
in
Wendy's still
total,
there.
maybe. In total, maybe. But per cast, Beverly Hills, they always have been more paid than
Paid
anybody.
Okay. Okay.
They're in the 6 figures, so in the 7 figures. So it's not only 600,000 that she gets per episode, per season. No, they get close to $1 million, if not above, just because they say, "Oh, we're rich. We don't need this. If it doesn't pay, we don't want to do it." And this is how it started. And Lisa Vanderpump, she really made that franchise relevant. The real people who really had money were Lisa, Camille, and Adrienne Maloof. When the other 2 left, the only queen, why was she a queen? Because she was the only really wealthy woman in the cast, Lisa Vanderpump, because she had multiple businesses. She still promotes her businesses, so it only increased, but the base was already there, to the point that Lisa, she left the show because she doesn't need the show to survive the way she lives. You know what I mean? But meanwhile, all the other women, they stay in the show because of that. And Lisa Rinna, she is like holding into it like it's her life depends on it, because it does. What's his name? Harry. We all know he has another home in Canada. And, there's nothing going there. And this is how she makes money. She was so happy that her daughter, she was dating Scott Disick. As much as she pretended not to be happy, she never said that without her big lips being from here to here, and they're all fake, as much as Dorit knows. And for Dorit to tell us that she never had a nose job, when no makeup artist can make this smaller. Like, they put side to side, and everybody, like, they pushed back on Dorit on the confessional that, oh, we all have eyes, or in Watch What Happens Live. But nobody said it to her face. And then they hold the Garcelle accountable that she only speaks on the confessionals, not in front of the woman's face. That's all what they do. It's the double standard, left and right, up and down.
True.
Well, I think it's an interesting point to make about why Erica has such vitriol for Sutton and how Lisa followed back, which I think I made a comment on it during the chat. And since I think it was Dan and Loki, and I know Tisa, you talked about this, about like how much money like Sutton truly has, and how she doesn't overly flaunt it. She lives she lives the life of wealth whispers, but there's wealth there. And so I feel like there's this weird thing where once Sutton was not going to act like the flunky of Erica and Lisa, then they started to try to put her down in other ways. With the Lisa calling her, oh, her store's not a business. I'm like, well, Lisa, you had stores and Kyle had stores. So what about this is an issue? When this woman is going to these very affluent, closed auction houses to get things to sell in her store. And you are like having some dress barn situation going on, whatever store you have, that you have to close down. And then we watched you close down. And so with Kyle, we have watched Kyle close down with every store she has opened. And yet you want to call Sutton store, oh, that's not a business. Okay. So I think Erica was cool with Sutton being supportive, and Sutton essentially like watching her in her wealth of like taking her own spas and everything like that. But as soon as Sutton had questions, then it's like, oh, you disgust me. I disgust you because I'm divorced and I'm still living the way I lived before, because I own percentages of everything that my husband owns or does. Meanwhile, you played the game dumb. You played the game stupid, because I don't believe she gave her paycheck. But if she did, that would be the most dumb gold diggerish move in the world, to give a paycheck that should be officially pocket change to your husband to your husband. That should be play money for you. Why would you ever in your mind think to give that to your husband? He's supposed to be so wealthy and the top. He was. I'm gonna be like he was the top lawyer. He was winning his cases. He was killing, but he was winning.
Another lie.
So you played your game wrong, and now you're upset because someone's calling you out because she knows how this game. Not that someone was playing a game with her ex-husband, but she knows how this process goes. So she knows you're lying because she's already been through this.
I don't believe she gave the checks to Tom. I don't.
I mean, even if she did, I mean,
it was like deposit them for me.
Yeah, like I gave you 600,000, I got 24 million back. It's like, okay, like
I will do that. I'll give you my check, Tessa, if you do that for me. That's great return.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Here you go. Now, I was gonna say, I agree that comment that somebody made on that show where they said that Sutton's business wasn't a business. I thought that was just so annoying. Again, they just take shots. Yeah, so the thing is,
we lost her gig with QVC because of her mouth.
Yeah, and then also she had like a little shop that she was, pushing on people for about 10 years. I remember watching on SoapNet, and she had a shop, and then what did she call it, a business? So how in her mind could she do it? So that was just sort of blatant, like this idea that they would take every jab. So I remember when Sutton did say, well, it was a business, and then Lisa came up and said, well, you point at me. I wish that Sutton would say, hell yeah, I'm pointing straight at you, honey. I'm talking straight at you. They don't have that feeling whenever they want to call them out because, it's almost like they back down a little bit. I wish that Sutton would have done it. If it was Nene or somebody else would say, yeah, girl, I'm talking straight at you because, you were dead wrong, and you shouldn't be talking about my business like that. That's right. Yeah, shut your face. Well, no, they wouldn't say shut your face. They wouldn't say shut your face. They would say shut your lips, honey. Especially with Lisa Rinna. So
I think we're forgetting that the women that we're talking about are the women that have the most to lose. Like Sutton and Garcelle are running in circles that the other women are essentially not. Kyle Murray's are making their money, but lots of lawsuits there and maybe some mischief. Who knows? But like her money is still very much so new, which is why she's always flaunting a new house. Her being on a boat or a yacht or something like that. We never saw that from Lisa or Camille or Adrian. Again, most of their money was always invested into their home, into their main property. The way that Lisa cared for her home, the way that Camille cared for her home, the way Adrian cared for her home. Kyle's home, I'm just like, so you have 10 homes, they all look like this? Then I don't really care. I'd rather just have one Villa Rosa and be good. So for me, it's just kind of like the other still has something to lose.
Can we mention how outrageous was Dorit when she said that everything that Garcelle does is to be relevant? Be relevant. She isn't the real. She was just in the remake of Coming to America. She was producing a movie. She's about to release a book. If that is not what relevant is, without trying, just by being her fabulous
still modeling
and modeling. Like, I feel like they are really, she is not a triple threat. She just doesn't sing. I don't know. I never heard her sing.
Well,
but
that was, you see, that was,
be shocked if she sings.
That was Dorit's ignorance because, I mean, I've watched Garcelle for years. She is really one of the leading Black actresses in Hollywood. And I mean, she's right up there with Angela Bassett, who I live for. She's up there with Halle Berry. She may have gotten awards, but her career is consistent. She was just in Spider-Man, one of the biggest movies. She was in that one a couple of years ago. So yeah, Garcelle is really one of the leading Black actresses, and a lot of people in like Vivica Fox and other people who know her, like in the circus, say, "Girl, why are you on this show? Because you're working all the time." And she's a smart woman, so she used it for businesses and producing, as she said in her interview. She said, "I use it to get more exposure, so when I get in the doors, they say, oh yeah, you're on this show on Bravo, so we might produce your part." It's very smart. She's being very smart about it, and she's also not going up and getting out of character. And we do know she got in because she can cut somebody out real quick, like and she also censors herself. She's not scared of them, but she's controlling herself. Like she's not like scared of the people, or whatever. She's just controlling herself. But yeah, she's one of the most respected Black actresses in Hollywood. So she's definitely up there. And
on TV now. On TV now.
Yeah.
Who else? Like you think of like who you want to be like?
Yeah, and I'm tired of Dorit.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm tired of Dorit with all her direct to Europe kind of businesses. We don't see nothing up in Macy's or the stores, nowhere in America. And all she talking about these $30 things that, like Miss Tisa would say, probably only sold in Dubai somewhere. And and then she thinks she's relevant. Come on, get out of here. You're not
And they're
you're
not
not
really
a success in America, Dorit. Dorit is not a success in America. She's a success in some kind of, crazy country or with some other place around the world, but not in America. No.
Yeah.
She keeps bragging about the languages she taught. Like, come on, like,
And
get over it.
she probably talked them badly. I think who was it? It was somebody on they got Luann together. They said, "Oh, you speak French, but you do it the worst way I've ever heard on television." So I think that maybe the way she speaks those other languages is probably not done in the right way or the right tone. So she may speak them badly. Who knows?
But in Luann's defense, I have tons to talk about Luann, but in Luann's defense, she has a very interesting life story. I was in awe when I heard they did like a document, like it was
a special episode, yeah,
a special on her. She
I
really she has an amazing trajectory, and I feel like at least she's doing cabaret. Like she's the only one from the Housewives that are still left, excluding Ebony. Ebony, she's another level. But I mean, like she was in the entertainment business, and she still is, because the cabaret show is, I'm telling you, it was one of the best shows I watched. I never laughed in my life so much. I watched her, and I feel like leave Housewives and do that, Luann. You ran your course. So at least she has an interesting life. What is the interesting trajectory of Dorit? Or Kyle? Okay, she was a child actress, but then that's it. And now she's remaking that movie, and they let her plug it the heck out of it.
Halloween?
Oh God, I'm not watching.
Me neither.
I mean, when you think about it, Dorit needs the money, I guess, more than anyone, right? Dorit now is Kyle's season 1,
Yeah.
That was the brokest one.
But Kyle, she needs Bravo because all their businesses are being promoted by Bravo. Like even the agency got to where it was because of $1 Million.
Bravo. Yeah.
Because of Mauricio is always
and taking for her sister's business.
Right? To be honest with you, I miss Kim because she was the only one who really stood up to Rena. When they did the flashback in Amsterdam, like it really, like she knew what she was talking about. She knew. And how funny is that in the Chinese year, Lisa Rena's sign is rabbit. The rabbit.
Is she really a rabbit?
That's what they said because what's her name? Crystal, she told each of them what was their sign. Okay. And this is another thing. Like instead of doing the stupid Kathy Hilton's backyard, there is the Chinese party that Crystal threw. Like 2 things that were way more interesting than that backyard. The most interesting thing in Kathy's backyard was her talking to her dog and doing like that was the interesting thing. What is interesting about Kathy's backyard? It's dated just like the Hilton hotels. They need to rip off that tacky carpet, and they need to revamp the things. And I feel like, and there she's promoting the heck out of everything Hilton and Baccarat, and she's making tons of money. Every time you look at her post, it's always there's a tag about something. And when she is on the show, I think she made it was in the contract that I can put product placement and you guys don't take a cut. Because usually when housewives do product placement, Bravo takes a cut of the earnings, but not Kathy. Kathy, she was promoting everything. There is not a single appearance of hers that she's not promoting, either a hotel or a restaurant in the hotel or a brand, and it's like up front and center there, and they repeat the name of the brand time and time again, and that's not for free.
No, I completely agree with you. Now, this is the last thing. What do you guys think of like what happened between Kathy and Kyle at the end about the family? What do you guys think of that?
I am sorry, but it was just like to feel like for us to like them more. I don't think there was the time or the place. That wasn't a storyline. they were not talking about the real deal, that why they were not talking. They just said, oh, we wasted time. Did they talk about the issues really in depth? They didn't, not even in the reunion. To get that reaction from Kyle, we know she cries a lot, but from Kathy, I feel like, come on, it was out of place. I feel like it was brought up or happened on purpose. Like everything was orchestrated. Nothing was natural in that reunion. Just like Erica's responses were all rehearsed. You wait and see. I will prove for you that I am innocent, that you think I am not compassionate, but I am.
Listen, Erica.
Erica is annoying. She is annoying. But I was going to say, so Miriam, you know what? I'm going to disagree with you on this part because, and I told Tisa a little bit about my life, whatever. That part when she talked about missing her mom and all that, I saw the episode twice, and for some reason, it got me every time. I have to, I mean, maybe I'm a softie, but when she say, I mean, you know, when you lose people and stuff like that, I don't know what happened because, you know, the Bravo don't really get me. I'm not sure the last time something really got me on there. Maybe, again, probably was New York years ago or something. I think, yeah, it got me. But that got me every time. Every time.
Mel, because
it got
you
me.
have real feelings towards your mother, and they
Yeah.
played on a topic that is dear
Kathy?
and near to everybody's heart.
I don't know. I feel like Kathy was super tight with her mom.
Yeah, I'm not saying they weren't, but I feel like
Kyle hated her mom, but I feel Kathy had a complicated but very close relationship with her mom.
I agree. I'm not saying they hate their mom. I'm just saying they used that for a moment, to have a moment in the reunion. This is what I feel like. I wasn't able to verbalize it, but I feel like they used that to have a moment.
But I would say
that it wasn't all about Erica. They had that.
So I think that was the producers and Andy. I agree with you. So what I think is what you said, two things that I agree with, which is that for years they sort of, you know, alluded to the fact that there was some major issue between Kathy. She was sort of like the ghost that never really showed up on the show. So yes, we didn't get to the deep part of that, but they don't really do that on the show. But you're right, they sort of gloss off of that. And also, I think that Kathy, what touched me when she cried in the show itself was also what touched me when they was emotional there, because I do believe that she's this quirky, you know, weird person, and I think that she eats like her mother and thinks about her mother, eats on trays, all that kind of stuff. I think that part is real. I think that Andy and the producers showed us that as an audience instead of going deeper. Yes, I do. I think that they just sort of showed us this sort of real moment, but we didn't get a chance to. So I think that, so Miriam, so you know how when Kim was there, they used to go real hard and go, okay, well, let me know about the house. Well, who had the budget? Who had the deed? You're right. We didn't get this level. Like, I think at one point they said, well, you sold my house, whatever. We didn't get the real, like, dragging, going deep with Kathy. I get that. That's true. Yeah, we didn't get that. But for me, I was moved at that moment about the mother. But maybe next week, who knows? But
it is like a topic that will make everybody cry. But for me, it was like they were just trying to have a moment, and I felt like they used something real to have a moment. It wasn't part of their storyline. It wasn't. Like, it wasn't. So why bring it up?
Yes. It was a scene, and also they're trying to boil down the issue between Kathy and Kyle as this American Woman show. But I'm like, Kathy's first issue with Kyle was Kim. Then her issue was that her husband, Mauricio, messed over them in business. And then it was the mom in the show. So my thing is, I don't necessarily think that Kathy has to be best trust in how Kyle handles their family. Maybe Kyle's really great at her own immediate family now, which would be her husband and her kids. But now her extended family, I don't know if she's as great as that, because I think maybe she's had a history of leveraging them to make her way up, because essentially, she was the black sheep of the family. Kathy, apparently, Kyle said that Kathy was well taken care of by the mom, and essentially, like, the mom helped her, nab the Hilton. And then Kim was the childhood star who nabbed the oil baron. And then Kyle was the one who was Kyle. She did a few shows on Little House of the Prairie and stuff like that, but like that was kind of it. So I think it is like glossing over. Yes, it was a moment, but glossing over, like, there are very much so clear and definite things of why your sister was not talking to you for 10 years, and it's not just your mom.
The real issue between why they stopped talking wasn't bullshit about American Woman. It was because of Mauricio. When he left the real estate agency that's owned by Rick Hilton, there was a mass exodus of employees.
Yes.
He brought with him the best sellers, and this is when the rift happened. And now they are gaslighting us, saying that it's because of American Woman. No, it's not because of American Woman. That is the real issue. And they're gaslighting us, saying that that was the issue, but that is not. They stopped talking way back before she was producing American Woman. They were not talking. Kyle wasn't invited to Kim's
Nikki's.
daughter's
Yeah.
wedding. And then she was, and then it was only her. Do we remember when they went to Italy, Mauricio and her and Lisa and Ken to Italy, and from there she borrowed a dress from Lisa to go to the wedding, and like that. So the issue between her was business. It followed the money, and this is why I say what they created. They tried to gaslight us. They talked about things. Yeah, life is short. Don't waste time not talking to your siblings. Yeah, that all rings true. But when we look at the timeline, it doesn't add up. Just like Tom's dementia, they have been at odds for more than 10 years. As soon as Mauricio left the company, this is when everything broke down.
That's when everything broke down. But also, I think it was also beef, too, if I'm not mistaken, between the way that Kim was treated.
Yes.
Right?
It was Kim.
A little
Kim,
bit.
then the business, and then the show. Kim, business, show.
Yeah.
I would say
so.
business Kim show. I would say business Kim show, because
She tracks, because when she was
it
treating
happened
Kim
together.
bad, it was a family argument, but the business is what made them be like, okay, I'm done.
You
done.
know
I'm
why? I feel like Kim outed what they did to her home, because she is the one that really provided. Kim was the real child actor. She was the breadwinner for the whole family. And when she saw, because she is like, she loves Kathy, when she saw that Mauricio left the company, she felt like, are you serious right now? So I feel like those things happened together. And this is when Kim told Kyle, you stole my house. It was right there. It was back in the first or second season that Mauricio left. They even had that fake story that I want to grow. So I feel like what Kim did is stemmed from the fact that Mauricio was leaving. And then she said, and you stole my house. And this is where like everything happened together. My hierarchy would be business Kim or business Kim at the same time. Because Kim was clearly Kathy's team. She was Kathy's camp.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it's clear as day. Definitely, Cal definitely backstabbed both her sisters, and probably the mother's name. You know, I think that anytime when Brandy, of all people, can say, "Listen, I think you want your sister to fall off the wagon. You want her to be on the show drunk and having problems because you want to make it a good show," then you know something's wrong. Yeah, Cal definitely, and I think that again. I think if Kathy was smart, she wouldn't come back next year, because I think that this year was just to make her feel like a fan favorite. And next year she will sit up there and say, okay, well, now what did you do to Paris? And what's going on with this? And how's your husband? She will ask those questions. So if I was Kathy, I would not go up there, because Kyle, this was so funny. She blamed Lisa Vanderpump for years as manipulative and sort of producing the show and being Bobby Fischer, whatever it is. She's not as smart as Lisa Vanderpump, but she's also producing, and she's also very cutthroat. And she also
it was great when Lisa was producing it. Let's face it.
Yeah, but I'm saying that Kyle herself is, so everything she blamed Lisa Vanderpump for, she's doing herself to all the ladies on the show right now. She also did to her own family, you know. So yeah,
it's like watching a real life like social climbing, because the way that Kyle like essentially just latched onto Kathy again, and now she's bringing along Dorit, who needs this so desperately, that Dorit's dressing up as Paris at the Halloween party, whatever Kyle was throwing. It is like, I cannot. You did not bring your friend to your party and have her dressed up like your niece, and then she comes to your niece's engagement party. This is too much.
That was a lot. Listen, I still think that Kyle and Kathy don't mess with each other. At the end of the day,
Yes.
you forget from the caviar party, no one knew who Kyle was. all of Kathy's help. They were like, and you are? And she's like, I'm Kyle, her sister. And he's like, oh, okay. Well, you can sit
That
here.
was so telling, right? That
But
was
they
so
all knew
telling.
Crystal. They all knew Crystal.
You crystals.
So that makes me think they're not cool. I agree with you, Mel. Just because Kyle is very territorial, and apparently she never felt like she was the center of attention when she was younger, and now she's going to make sure that she's always taking over every room. So I agree with you. I am interested to see how she takes down her own sister in the upcoming season, because I don't think that Kyle thought that Kathy would be the fan favorite. Oddly enough, Kathy makes Kyle more likable because
doing her a favor.
but Kyle's not going to see that. All she sees is that she's getting more attention, and now she's going to have to Kathy out. That's what she feels, I honestly, I agree with you. Kathy, if she knows what's good for her, is going to not come back the second season. But to tell you the truth, I don't think that Kathy even cares about being on. I think she wanted to promote her stuff. But let's be real. She slept through half the season.
I think she was bored in the pandemic. This is why she did it.
I think that they wanted to, the pandemic, they're probably worried about the businesses. They do work in hospitality. We didn't know travel was going to be back. They were probably very, very worried and said, new rules, new times, do this. But she slept through half the scenes. She had her manufactured. Who's Hunky Dory? Who's this? Who's that? It's like, Kathy, you are at the age where Hunky Dory was slaying. You cannot expect us to believe that you don't know who Hunky Dory is,
So she knows the temperature of the caviar, how it needs to be served, but she is a hunky dory. This is when I was mesmerized by her at first, but it lasted a minute, and I have to own it. I drank the Kool-Aid for a little bit, but then I saw how many calories it has. I said, I need to.
So you know what? What I was going to say too is I agree with you, but what's so funny? When she first premiered, I remember years ago, I did a little blog talk thing. I interviewed her, and she knew exactly where the closest store was for her design. That was one thing. And then recently, maybe a couple months ago, when she first came on, she liked a picture of my mother. That's why maybe that's where my subconscious I get emotional, because she basically said something very nice about my mother too. So yeah, I'm conflicted with her. I don't know. I mean, there's some minor microaggressions that you can't sort of overlook, with her own life and things. But yeah, I mean,
Michael told me you have to look at color, and it's just like, well, I'm glad the one black person told you what to do with us as a, it's like, okay,
of all people,
told you.
Yeah. I know. Oh my
gosh. That was such a funny scene. Garcelle was like, Garcelle has the patience of 10 angels. She really was like,
yes, you do.
She's amazing how she controls. Oh my God. Candice needs to just watch Garcelle and take a page of her book to calm her down. Because Garcelle, she's like, if someone comes for her, she's very calm and collected. For her not to, if Dorit yelled at me the way she yelled at her, I would have But
then again, the funny thing is, Garcelle did say, and we'll have unapologetically, Romel came in to say a few thoughts before we go, but I will say to the Dorit thing, Garcelle at the moment, because she looks at Dorit as such a joke, was like, all right then, girl, speak. But, I think that afterwards, Garcelle felt like you did, Miriam, because I think she said on some show, I think it was Watch What Happens Live.
She said on Watch What Happens Live, she will never yell at me again.
And with that voice, that's like, so you, in the moment, you looked at Dorit as like a little kid, but then afterwards, you saw how disrespectful it was and was like, I'm never giving you another inch to do that again. So I agree with you. Dorit was reaching. They were all really disrespectful. They were very disrespectful.
Because she's the one that has the jobs they all want. Garcelle has everything they want. And she is not defined by a man. She left the marriage because he cheated on her. She still has a good relationship with her ex-husband. She is successful. She built her own home before the show. So she didn't build her house with the money from Bravo. She had that money. It's from coming to America and her modeling stuff. And now
her ex-husband, that alimony
ex-husband. Yeah, but she worked. She.
That's what I mean. she has it coming in from all angles, like, you know.
Yeah, she doesn't need the show. Garcelle doesn't need the show, and especially now, even if she's not on the show, which would be, I don't see it happening. She's in the real. She is there to stay, like as a panelist. Is it the real or what?
The
That
real,
she,
I think she is
yeah.
there.
So
She's
Yeah,
more
the real.
relatable.
yeah,
So
she doesn't need the show to make a living.
absolutely. So you guys, really quickly, I'll apologize, Romel. I know you want to say a few words. I let you in the chat and then you keep dipping out. See if you can come in one more time before we go. But in the meantime, let's start with you, Mel. Then we'll go to Miriam, and then we'll end up with Kaya. Rank this episode. Tell me your final thoughts and tell me what you hope to see, I guess, next season for Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Mel, we'll start with you, then go to Miriam, and of course, and with my girl Kaya, the brain scientist, the neuroscientist, perhaps, or the lawyer. We'll see. So go on.
Yeah, I think we're her. The sky's the limit. I think this episode I'm going to give a 4. I'm going to give a 4 really because for me I did get emotional with the moment with Kyle and Kathy at the end. Everything else was filler. It just seemed like I was watching the Twilight Zone episode. Like it was like the invasion of the Erica Snatchers or the Body Snatchers. I don't know, but because they all were just hypnotized by her in those lives, and it just was just not good. It was not good TV at all. And next season, well. I love Garcelle, love Sutton, and I'm starting to, look at Crystal differently. I'm going to need somebody to come in there, just as I said earlier, like a Tisa, like a Miriam, with your energy, to really be like, if Lisa steps up to somebody, she'd be like, well, like Lisa said, well, you talking about me? Yeah, I was talking about you, and what you want to do. Let's, I need somebody to have that energy, and if they don't, I'm not sure if it'll be enjoyable to watch. I'm not sure if it's going to be enjoyable. Not for me. I was going to say, Tisa, I'm tired too. You making me tired.
No. It's not you. I was trying my best.
I know,
it's
no.
not you. I'm
She
super,
just got off the
jet lagged.
plane.
But
Yeah,
so it's a plane. It really, Mel, I love listening to you. I apologize. That was I
no,
tried to
no,
it,
that's
but it had
I'm tired
nothing to
too.
do.
That was
with
an Andy
you.
Cohen
It's a
moment
plane.
with
But
Dorit.
Mel, you know what? To your point, you bring up a good point. I would like to see someone that could go toe to toe with Lisa Rinna. Really check her. And here's the thing: Garcelle's smart. She understands microaggressions. She understands the playing field. So I don't think it needs to be her. She doesn't need to be the sacrificial lamb. I don't want her to be the sacrificial lamb. I like the way she beats them at their own game strategically. Sutton tries, but she doesn't have it. As soon as they raise their voice, Sutton's like, Crystal doesn't even want that smoke. I would like someone that had Garcelle's savvy, because Garcelle is an incredibly quick thinker, incredibly, right? But she knows the game being played. I would like somebody with Garcelle's savvy that does not, like you said, doesn't care, meets her head on, and Lisa Rinna. And I would, you know what? Should we all do a prayer soaker and hope Kim Richards comes back? Because Kim Richards.
Oh my
Yes.
God. I was just trying to tell you.
But what happened to the days? And I know Miriam will know this too. What happened to the days when the Lays brought their friends in? So we wouldn't even know about Faye because Kyle brought her there. So then, how many times did Kim show? No. Oh my God, the queen, Miss Camille. How many times did Camille come up there with a psychic or whoever she brought up there, and they were defending her? Come on now. So listen, Garcelle friends ain't no joke. So we need we need Will Smith's ex-wife to come up there. We need some other people to go up there who is friends with Garcelle. Say, okay, Lisa Rinna, wait, who are you? And let me step to you. Let me do this. So maybe that might be the solution. Bring Garcelle back, but give her the allotment so that she can have her friends film with her when they do these scenes. So she never come in with a man. She's not coming with a man. So you say, hey, Kyle, I'm bringing my friend with me. Well, who's your friend? It's going to be, this or that one. Bring somebody who's ready to go. And then we can do that. So, because they used to do this all the time. They used to bring the friends with them. And I remember last season when Camille was there, she brought her friend. Camille never goes to these things alone. I love that about Camille. She never go alone. She comes with her boyfriend, her girlfriends, everybody. And I love that about Camille. And she tells them all up. So me and Garcelle need to have that thing too. I loved it back in the day. Even Brandy, she used to bring her sponsor with her, this beautiful woman who was with the black hair. She was always with her. So they need to bring back the friends. She had a sponsor. She was like a So Brandy used to bring all her friends with her all the time too. So yeah, Garcelle, bring your friends with you. Bring somebody on the show with you, not as a cast member, just to go with you to these scenes, and that's what's going to happen.
You bring up good points, and you gave 4 names, right? Camille, definitely. We love to see Kim Richards.
Adrian, I
Bill,
want
yeah,
Adrian back. I want Lisa back. I
I
want
don't know
Kim
about
back.
them, but Brandy Glanville, I would like them to bring her back just for a few scenes to talk to Lisa Rinna, because Brandy didn't care either. She would eat their everything, but they've used her so many times, right? Why would she
Yeah.
come
Well,
back again?
Brandy is the reason that Lisa Rinna wears wigs. I mean, after she embarrassed her a couple of years ago, said you still got 20-year hairdo. She never healed from that read.
Oh,
Never
really?
healed. When
Yeah.
she was on that show, so when she was on that show, she said, "How are you going to talk to me? You still wearing your hair from 20 years ago." She never healed from it. Never healed. From that season on, from that reunion, she started wearing wigs, and she started saying, "I'm being playful." No, she was embarrassed, so she tried to change her hair. She wasn't woman enough to get a haircut, so she started putting wigs on. Brandy was the reason
It
she started
wasn't the
wearing wigs.
reunion. It
Yes,
wasn't the reunion.
yes,
Lisa said something about Brandy as a
yeah,
mother, and she goes, "Who is telling me you have the same haircut for more than 20 years?"
yeah,
And
and she
this
never
is when
healed.
she started wearing wigs. Yeah,
That's right. That's why she started. Brandy's the reason.
Brandy's the reason. I want Kim back. I want Adrienne Maloof back. I want Camille back. I even want what's her name, Taylor back, because Taylor now she has money, and I want Lisa back. I want these people back, and I want Denise back to be backed up by Camille so that she can corner Lisa Rinna. And my wishful thinking is that Dorit is gone, Erica's gone, Crystal, I don't care about her because as much as she's trying now to repair the damage that she did, I think now she realizes she was in the wrong team. Now she's taking pictures with Sutton, this and that. She missed the bus. She missed the bus. She needs to go back home and finish building that basement. And I need who else I need to go away. To be honest with you, I would only hope Kyle stays so that someone can corner her with Lisa Rinna, because Kyle, she always wanted to be the queen. She thinks she's the queen. She's not, because the queen brings the A game, and she is like just catering to Erica, and she's being understanding to her right after she was ostracizing Denise for something that's not a crime. It's not a crime to have a threesome, but it's a crime to not to pay the victims.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, and all of them were like were like exposed at the reunion when they said, well, I didn't go to a lawyer, but my friend is a lawyer. They did the same thing that Sutton did, and then yet they portrayed Sutton as like, oh, she paid for her lawyers and she sat on an office in an office like to get legal counsel. Like, they're all full of shit, all of them. And
I
Lisa
agree.
has the money hidden. She has something. Her loyalty, she's not loyal to anyone, but she's loyal to a Benjamin, to a dog.
Well, if you think about it, Rinna's whole storyline is
Not,
being Erica's friend. So, and that way they kept, she had a really bad season with Denise last year, right? I think even if Lisa Rinna doesn't have money, the one thing she gets away with is you now don't have to take any questions about Denise. The only question she had to take was in the beginning with Garcelle. And then after that, that's it. So she's sticking close to Erica, almost like crawling behind her, so she doesn't have to answer any questions about Denise. Because if she is on camera, that's the only storyline she has. Why did you do Denise so dirty? And you saw what happened when Garcelle tried to hit it. She turned it around to her and Dorit ganging up and calling Garcelle aggressive. So I don't know. Questionable.
aggressive, huh?
Yeah. Kaya, what do you think about this episode? And what do you want to see happen next season?
This episode was drier than the desert. Dry. It's just,
Oh, my rating.
we're watching a robot in no makeup and a cross trying to be holier than thou now. I cannot. I cannot. I think when it comes to the season, yes, obviously we like love OGs, but I truly think, in a sense of like, since now we look at Housewives as like Survivor, as like games, not necessarily like friendships that have ups and downs. I think game wise, the only person I truly would want to have back would be Camille, because I think me and Callie Steve talked about how we want Camille to go after Dorit.
Yes.
Dorit would not survive. And I think after that, that means that's one less person for Kyle to have underneath her. And I think that would be the smartest way to get at Kyle. Because even if you go at Kyle, she still has her group. But if you start knocking down the group and she really doesn't know how to hold her own, then she's easy to flick off like a bug. So if you go after Dorit, which would be to me like the lowest stake lackey, which doesn't really hold any weight, but she's just like an extra mouthpiece, and also it would be very fun. I want to. It would just be very fun. So I think Camille for Dorit. I think yes, Garcelle needs a friend because I think yes, Garcelle was elegant, but also for me it was still a little because you open up this dialogue of race and cultural diversity talks, but then when we come to like the moment of the reunion and trying to confront those or kind of like the issues that arose from those conversations, that kind of fell flat for me. And I do get, like, I don't want her to have to necessarily like shoulder the burden of that because we know Crystal's not doing it right now. But if they have a friend of, I think they could help shoulder the burden of confronting someone when we are trying to have cultural diversity talks and they say something sideways. I think that's how we kind of curtail that. They can come to the reunion, like Estella, talk about that for a moment, and then go away.
No,
Erica?
Yeah.
Yes?
No, I agree. Go on. Sorry. I was talking
about and Erica, I think, I truly don't think there's anyone to come for Erica. I think Erica is just kind of like there until we see where the chips fall. And maybe it's just like the first iteration of the chips fall, which is maybe like her having like us having a formal document stating that she's paying for something, or her like formally going to civil court and trying to work it out. I think that would be like the first step of us kind of coming to a close with the first book in the series, because the next book will be the IRS. So I think that would kind of be. I think Erica's there for the long haul, and I don't really know where that leaves Lisa Rinna because there's only so long that you can stand behind Erica. So then well, because it's just kind of like, we can't ask us to continuously go after Erica for her moral code. Really, for the viewers, it's the question of like, you have a moral code if you are trying to stand by this man and what he did, and you're trying to make excuses for him. So then that's really where people are coming for Erica at this moment in time. So the first book of the series is closed, and it says that either she's like actively in court trying to figure out what to pay, or she's already in the works of paying stuff. Then for us, the viewers, it's kind of like us just watching how she lives now. So there's really like nothing actively going on unless something happens with the IRS or it becomes criminal. So at that point, what is Lisa Rinna doing? If you said, Tisa, if she's hiding essentially behind Erica?
You know, again, I don't think. Now, somebody made a good point. Where was it? I think it was Morgan. I think she called them the Forest Four and need to go back where they came from. Nicole Span said this episode was dry like Erica's hair. But here we go. Lindsay said, Rim is not that smart or savvy to be able to hide money. Not with all those forensic accountants involved. Nope. I actually agree with that. I think the only thing that Ren is getting out of it is she gets to fly under the radar because she has not been ripped apart for what she did for Denise last season. And I do remember, I'll be honest with you, I didn't really watch the last season of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but my BFF did, so she kept me posted. And from what I understand, even casual watchers were out for blood with what Rinna did and how she did it and all this stuff. And now everybody's forgotten about it. And yeah, she gets clowned for being Erica's lapdog. And yeah, she gets clowned for this. But otherwise than that, like, she's fine, right? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
She's think Cohen's puppeteer.
Yeah, producer puppeteer. And she's fine like that. Like, who was like that this season for Drew? Drew was like that with Real Housewives of Atlanta, you know? Sure, what do you need me to do? What do you need me to say? Who's like that on Real Housewives of Potomac? Giselle, I guess, right? Giselle, she does everything the producers need her to do. She keeps it moving and she doesn't care. She literally is an actual producer. But all the girls are, you know, to be fair with Potomac. But you know what, Kaya, I agree with you guys. This, again, I don't think this reunion was dry. It just, once again with Bravo, they overpromised and underdelivered on the reunion. You know, the clips made it seem like that was just the start.
Not even the clips. Not even the clips. The rate I give is the 3. And
I don't know. When I heard but I know how much you make. I was like, ooh, because I thought that was the first question. I thought there were follow-ups. I didn't know that she'd be like, well, no. And he'd be like, okay, so moving on. I was like, you literally showed us. There was no follow-up questions. There was nothing. And all you got was like, Kyle, I mean, I give it to her. Kyle I thought looked really beautiful at the reunion. But you could tell the night before she had been in the mirror like, huh? Oh, wow. Like that was her whole sick. Like, I get it, Kyle. I get it. I get it. So I don't know. The reunion was dry, but you know what? I'm beginning to see, and I guess we're getting to why ratings are down. It's the same thing. There's never been any time that I've been surprised since I've been watching reunions for the last 3 years. I've never been surprised at anything that happens at a reunion ever. We know exactly what's going to happen. Shit's not resolved. To your point, Mel, right? Kaya, to your point, nobody's ever really held accountable, feet to the fire. And it happens 3 years. When did they start doing the 4-part reunions? Because remember when reunions were 1 part, then it went to 2? 2 was always good because they were action packed. But when it went to 3 and 4, that's when you knew.
It's diluted, watered down. Yeah.
But the weird thing is they tape for 12 hours. So even if it's watered down, there's so much footage we also find out with the behind the scenes reunion. And I get it. Bravo. And you guys all say this, but let's just say it again for the people in the back. Bravo. And I think Mel's the one that started off with this point. Bravo never resolved storylines. That used to be the secret to their success, right? Remember,
because they want to continue. If they stay, that's the continuation of this next season. That's
it is.
But you know what I was going to say? I was going to jump into this part. I was going to say that what I was saying by that was that sometimes you have an ongoing storyline, and then next, the negotiations go bad, and then the person is going like, "Wait a minute, hold up. We had a reunion. There was no resolve there. You had a season, no resolve there. Now you kick the cast member off, and then they bring somebody new we don't know, and they start all over again. That always gets so frustrating. I think it was a season when we had Carlton. Actually, we again, it was a that was funny moment when Garcelle said, "Who's Carlton?" Well, I remember Carlton and Joyce was there. It was very funny, and Joyce and Carlton was gone, and they had they both was having some issues behind the scenes with Kyle. And next, they gone, and I'm like, oh my gosh! And now we get, we did bring in Lisa Rinna and Eileen, who were great, but it just sort of vanished. So I think sometimes that happens on these shows. And Katie and Potomac and Charisse had a lot of problems in Potomac. I wanted to see more about her. So you can go down a list of all these people that just been on the show who have unresolved storylines. But also, I was going to say this is a show called Big Brother, and you do live streams. One day, I hope Bravo's listening. If you are not afraid that the viewers will see unair footage, make sure people can go to the website Bravo and look at the whole day of filming and give it to us raw, where you can go, because you can't show it on TV. Maybe they'll say something politically incorrect or something a little too crazy for network TV. Mm-hmm. Give it to the viewer, and they can look online so we can see everything. Because if they don't, they can produce it. I think the producers themselves suck. I think they are boring. I think they don't give it to us like that we needed to. And this reunion could have been, as I said earlier, they should have just interviewed Erica separately. Interview Erica separately, because when she's there, she makes it all mess. She messes up the rhythm for me. And take her somewhere, interview her by herself like they did Kim one time. They say, okay, Kim, how are you in rehab? Do the same thing with Erica. Grill her so she don't have the girls to back her up. And then let's have the reunion with the girls and say, okay, girl, I saw the confessional. Now what? Let's do this. Do it the regular way because for me, she messes everything up for me. Erica messes up the show. I'm sorry. She messes it up.
I agree with you. We either it would be either only Erica talking because the other woman, they were just co-signing, or take Erica out. But then it would expose that none of them had storylines other than Garcelle and Sutton.
That's right.
They were the only one that something is really going on. Dorit, again, she's riding on the coattails of another designer, pretending that these are her designs, just like the Capri room that she did, and she rings that as an accomplishment, and she was condescending. And we had cameos of Kathy Hilton. So really, there's nothing happened other than the scandal of Tom. That's the only thing that happened. Nothing else.
And you know what's so funny? The scene when Sutton said, "Let's have a conversation." I'm not sure who house it was. I enjoyed when it actually almost became real a little bit because it would be real to go. Okay, on the show with this cast member. Guess what, girl? Did you hear this? And they were really doing a Keke. That was a fun moment. I think that the girls work better, and to be honest with you, when she's not there. Now they will never kick off the show, but it felt better whenever Erica wasn't there holding it down with all that attitude and all that allegedly and. She's just annoying to me. When she wasn't there, the show flowed better because the girls were being messy. They can shoot at each other with their words and stuff like that. I wanted Garcelle and Lisa to get really more into it. I wanted to see more and more of this resolve, not fake hugs. But when Erica's there, you already have your issue. Why are you getting inside the thing?
Erica.
You know why are you even supporting Lisa Rinna and Dorit when you shouldn't say nothing, Erica? You should say nothing at all. Focus on your crimes and your excuses and your pre-made,
She was
story.
chiming in all the time.
Yes, and that was annoying. So I need Erica. I needed Bravo to say we having a very special episode, special with this interview that because I think she was obligated not to even talk to other networks for the whole year. So make it a special with her. Maybe people watch, maybe they won't, but then focus on the girls, and that would have been a solution for me because Erica she ruins it for me. It's almost like she ruins it. It makes them.
She does. No, you're right about that, and you're right. She definitely messed up the vibe. And it's funny you said that because I didn't notice it until then. But you're right. She should have been off camera and had her own little sit down with Andy, and that would have been smarter for her. Even with the legal situation.
In La Quinta, they only had fun when she left. This is when the ladies, they drank and they danced.
That's right.
She wasn't there.
Yeah.
When she's there, everybody's like, oh, Erica, poor Erica. Every day something. And then Kyle again saying like the LA Times article was long. It was not long, Kyle. It was not long.
She read that. Her and Mauricio read it again. We're probably sending each other screenshots. I was like, Kyle, shut up. Kyle's so messy. And the way that Mauricio. I'm sorry, that's still the funniest scene I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, that was the best.
Going in on Erica, talking about he's like, he's not a soccer player. He's an 85-year-old lawyer. The ankle, fix the ankle, But
Keke was the MVP of the season.
He was. No,
he was.
He was funny. He was funny. That's true.
He was
funny, telling the truth. And he said, no, the crime is not alleged. What is alleged is Tom's health.
Yeah. That's what's alleged. It really is. So listen, you guys, thank you so much for joining a day late, but not a dollar short recap of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'll put the screenshot. I'll put the timestamps down there so you go. No, I'm not, because I want you guys to listen to my but I will say thank you. We're so happy to have you back, Miriam.
Oh my God.
B, thank you for being the best moderator in the world. And ML, New York City, I can't thank you enough for being here. You guys make the panel so fun all the time. Beverly Hills, I was hoping we would get what we needed out of these reunions. The fact that was a highlight of the reunion, and there's 2 other more parts.
I know. Oh my God.
Listen, we talked about Garcelle. We talked about Sutton. I know Erica tries to have a moment with Crystal. What else do they think we care about? What else?
I don't know.
You literally got, again, unless they're hiding secret questions for Erica, they've lost me. I don't know. Season 12 might be a season unless they bring back Kim or Camille or even Lisa Vanderpump just to go at Kyle. I don't think I'm going to be watching next season. Again, I float in and out of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I always know what's going on because my BFF will kind of watch the seasons that I'm not watching. So I can jump in when it gets interesting, but I don't know. I don't know unless the charges come down for Erica. Now, Salt Lake City, I will jump in for that. Salt Lake City, that actually seems like it's getting good. We're going to do a separate live for that crazy, again, for those of you guys that don't know, Jen, the new girl, her husband asked her for a sister.
Children. Yes, Jenny.
And said, what's her name?
Jenny.
Okay, thank you. Her husband came through and said that her niece came through and said some stuff on TikTok. And I have
Mm-hmm.
to let you guys know, I have to let you guys know, anytime family talks shit about other family, I really take it with a grain of salt because I'm like, I don't know. Second of all, this is a little kid. Third, and I'm not saying she's right or wrong. I'm saying that she said things to me that sounded very little kiddish. Um, it's a lie that he want more children because you don't take care of the children you have. And I said, but Jenny and her husband are from the generation where the man has a bunch of children and it's a wife's problem to raise them. It's kind of like they look at you like, I was like, it tracks that he would be an unevolved dad, right? And that he also wants more children because children are a status symbol. Also, to the point of when she was like, oh, this and that, but she was living with your parents for a while and taking care of the kids. So that tracked that he is a little bit of a jerk. I don't know. It's almost like, and again, I'm not saying she's lying, but it just reminds me of you're speaking of grown up situations and you were too young to even understand what was going on. Because it's a very new, I was talking to, my one friend on Instagram, I don't want to give her name because she doesn't want to be shouted out, but she might be coming on the channel and do something. And she had a good point. It's a very generational thing, right? It's a very generational thing for the men to help out with the house and the kids and raising and being there an equal partner, right? And when I say generational thing, most people, men 40 and up, they're just like, if something's wrong with the kids, it's the mom's problem. If the kid doesn't turn out right, it's the mom's problem. The man's
But
problem.
they're good. They're like their dad.
Yes. Always. Then everybody's like, Father of the Year, Father of the Year, right? And all they did, and don't get me wrong, men carry the load, but I can see a man wanting more children if it's a status symbol, not caring about the wife. And quiet as this cat, it sounded like he was not even asking her for a sister wife, but telling her he was getting a
That
sister
is what he wanted from the get-go, because physically
Exactly.
he cannot have kids.
Jenny, you know what's so funny? As I told both of you ladies before, this is the first year I've watched the Real Housewives of Salt Lake, and I can't say I've been as bored with this show as I've been with Beverly Hills. I will say, Jenny, oh my gosh, she broke my heart. Now this scandal come out, and I am more. So I'm trying to remember Heather saying that there was going to be more crazier things coming other than Jen, even more crazy. So I'm thinking, is it Jenny? Is Jenny the craziest part? Because the fact that this kind of scandal come out that they were broke or whatever the young girl said, it really is it's crazy. This is really getting good. It's getting real good right now.
It is getting good. Now, I will say this also, though. Remember, Miriam, you were on vacation, but remember we had to talk about not Heather. What's the other girl's name? Not
And
Heather.
Lisa?
Lisa and Whitney and the caterer and Lisa's friend. And remember,
Yes.
I said her friend seems really opportunistic because if we have known each other for 20 years, even if I did something that really made you mad, I would expect you to have the respect to curse me out first before you went and curse me out to the world. But I would get that phone call first, you cursing me out, telling me you're done with me, doing whatever. And then I'd be like, okay, well, fair enough. She told me. But it came out through the text messages that girl really was trying to have a moment. And it came out that when she said that Lisa had something to do with the caterers canceled, the reason why Lisa flipped out and was like, what? And remember I said I'm from where I was raised. When you're not lying, you get upset, you get angry, you break something. Because if you just sit there and say, I'm not lying, people are like, yeah, whatever, liar. Because why would you let it go? But then when I started getting exposed to other cultures, I realized sometimes the calmest person is the person that looks like they're telling the truth. I'm not lying, so I don't care, right? When Lisa flipped out, I did say I thought it was because the girl, and it came out through the text messages that the caterer canceled, but they said, we're canceling because we double booked an event. However, my brother's catering company is going to take over and do the same menu and do whatever, and you'll be fine with them. Don't worry, you're in good hands. And they did that because I believe it was a charity event and they were donating their time and services. So it was really like, I mean, come on, you're glad. Well, you should be happy we're even doing this. So that's why they were so comfortable to push her off into the brothers catering firm, and the big catering company actually took a paying job. And that's why Lisa was looking at her friend like, what? And Whitney knew this, and Whitney was manipulating. And even the whole thing about, she told me
I
not
hate Whitney. I can't stand her.
Whitney has dark energy to me. Miriam, I agree. She has dark energy, and I believe everything Mary Crosby said about her when she
Me
exposed
too.
her. I
Oh.
She
believe
gives me
everything she said.
Ashley vibes from Potomac. She kind of gives me Ashley vibes.
Wow.
She
So
does.
I'm confused. So okay. So on the show, okay. So I saw when Whitney was running from the table. So she was running from the table not because Lisa was lying. She was running because she was lying. So Whitney was lying, not Lisa,
No. So here's the thing.
because she
Whitney,
was trying to run.
Lisa's implying that Whitney, first of all, Lisa knows dirt on Whitney, but Whitney was implying that she didn't know. Lisa was implying that even though Whitney fed into this narrative, she knew that her ex-friend was just trying to have a moment. Even the way Whitney showed the
Oh,
text
wow.
messages where she said, I told you that I was cousins with Whitney and you told me to ignore it. She saw the text messages. The text message really was, they were sitting there. It was this season. They were texting, right? Like we do. Oh, you believe this shit, right? So then she said, you're not going to believe this. Do you know that me and Whitney are distantly related? Distant related, this and that. And she was like, what? And she's like, yeah. So I guess that kind of makes us cousins. And Lisa literally said on text, like, Lolll, don't claim her. And then they moved on to the next subject. Lisa literally was
Don't
saying,
blame her, LOL, kind of
yes,
thing. Yeah.
don't claim her. And then they flipped to a different subject. Lisa literally was just like, I wouldn't claim her, and then moved on because they're not even first, second, third. They're literally like 30-second cousins removed. Like
Oh, okay.
so that's why. And Whitney knew this. Whitney saw the text messages. Remember how Whitney was like, I saw the messages. And then when Lisa posted the messages, Whitney was like, still lying. It proves everything. And I was like, Whitney, I agree with you, Kaya. She does give me Ashley vibes, but Whitney also gives me like, don't ask me why. And I'm not religious at all, but she gives me the vibes of like the snake in the garden of Adam and Eve. She likes to defile things. Don't ask me why. I never went to Bible school. My parents didn't make me go to church. I know nothing about Christianity, really. But I mean, Islam, okay, maybe. But Christianity, I'm like, ooh, I confused Moses. I was how old when I realized Veggie Tales was Christian propaganda, right? So really good, well written, funny propaganda, but propaganda, right? But uh
Whitney gives me Lisa Rinna vibes.
not even that, because Lisa Rinna, I see her
Lisa is a
motivation.
snake. She's the
No, she
snake.
is. But Lisa always has motivation, and I see where she's going. Whitney seems like defile, like you just an agent.
No, Whitney's motivation is to be relevant in the show. That's her
But I
motivation.
also think she gets off just shocking. I think she gets off on
Yeah,
this
she
short.
likes to be controversial.
Yeah, but I think honestly, she's that type of person that would. This is just my opinion. I don't know her. This is all alleged. I think she's the type of person that would like
She doesn't care.
sleep with another person's
Okay.
mate.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
she
So,
did.
all right. So I get
did.
it. So I'm not sure if you. I know. I was just about to jump on. So I was going to say. So what you're saying is, in soap opera land, I haven't watched them in about 10 years. There's always these new characters come on, and you can tell by the music, this woman she's no good. She's out to take somebody's man, take somebody's business. Da, da, da. So you're saying that Whitney is this kind of person that she
But this is
basically
how
wants.
she married her husband now.
Okay.
They were
So
both
that's
married. They
so.
both cheated on each other's like spouses.
Wow.
But not
So
even
this.
she reminds me of the type of friend that if you know somebody's trying to cut back on
She is
drinking,
not swimming in my pool. She's not swimming in
no,
my pool.
true, but she still reminds me of that type of person where somebody's just like, oh my God, I'm cutting back on drinking. I'm so proud of myself. I'm changing my life. And she's offering them a vodka tonic.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you just like to be destructive just to see, because you like to defile things. Now, here's a good point. Colnair says, good point. You said no shade, but there's only like 8 main bloodlines of European bloodlines in Utah. Exaggerating a bit, but the DNA pool there is super thin. So to our point, it's not any surprise that
Everybody's
Whitney and that
related.
girl, exactly. If you go back far enough, everybody except Mary is related, right? Jackie agrees. VeggieTales was great propaganda, super amusing. You guys should watch it. VeggieTales, anyway, VeggieTales. It's really good. You guys should watch it. You guys should
No,
watch
I watched Tattle Tells.
it.
Me too.
But you guys, listen, I've had you guys on for so long. Thank you so much for chilling with us.
Thank
We are
you.
going to do Salt Lake, and I'm actually going to have, if you guys are all welcome to join the course, I'm going to set it up with an attorney. Well, you know what? We'll talk about that later, because I'm letting you two do it, and then you tell people. Because if not, people are like taking notes, like, "Oh, okay, I'll beat her to the punch." So
Yeah,
we'll
yeah, yeah.
we'll do it, and then we'll share what's going on. But I'll
I
tell
was
you
gonna
guys.
say, Tisa, is the attorney Ronald Richards?
No, you know what? I've realized that y'all don't give a damn. Don't give a damn about what's happening with Erica Jane, but I'm gonna make y'all care about Salt Lake City.
No, I care. I care.
Okay,
Me too.
perfect. It's gonna be.
I love the financial documents and the legalese of it all.
Yes. Well, that's right, because you're training for your future career.
That's
Elwoods,
right.
move over. We have Kaya.
You got Kyan Woods, honey. Kyan Woods.
Yes, do it. All right, you guys, thank you so much for rocking with me.
Awesome.
For
This is
the
great.
day late, but not dollar short. Next week, we will be back for our regularly scheduled programming. Sunday.
Potomac. Tons to
Potomac.
talk about Potomac. It's gonna be hot. We're
Yes,
gonna
it will
scream a
be.
lot.
Yes,
I'm gonna
it
read
will.
Ashley. Oh Jesus.
Wait. Oh, that's right. Okay. All right. You know what? Fine. We'll do Potomac at a regularly scheduled time. I'm going to be on vacation, but you know what? It doesn't matter. Y'all can see me do a margarita edition of Potomac, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
I bring my green tea and my hideous mug.
Exactly. You guys, thank you so much. And I will see you guys later. All right. Everybody
Bye,
have a
guys.
Good night.
Have a lovely night, everyone.
good